Now, so we are now
How's it
officially live. So this is going to be the new square table that was originally started by Lord Tremendous for Ninth Age community. And let's
We
see.
don't
What
mention his name.
I will. Not, I apologize for mentioning his name.
Who's that?
But
I'm just kidding. He's
used to
my
love one of
friend.
his old taglines is where he mentioned the square bases, or I'm sorry, round
Round
bases.
bases are for pussies.
Round bases are for pussies. That is correct. So joining me today is going to be the infamous Skaven and AZ. We've got. Go ahead and say hi.
What's up, everybody?
We have Chai Hammer. I'm moving my earbuds now.
Why?
No.
I'm not even gonna scream, man. I'm gonna have allergies and shit. My voice is all down.
You know, I don't believe you.
All right. We've got the Terror of the Mid Atlantic, aka Phil.
Villain, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, the villain. And we have a one of the key members for U.S. Masters for helping set that up. Lizzie, close the door, please. For helping set that up and schedule everything with me. So, Shane.
Hey, everybody.
All right. And later on, we in about probably another 20 minutes, we're going to have probably the doctor, captain of Team USA for ETC, also joining us. And
Yeah, the captain of Team Mexico here.
I do have captain of Team Mexico. However, didn't we get a picture, Shane, recently of a group of players that actually play in Mexico?
There is a group of players that play in Mexico. They're on my Mexico chat of on the Ninth Age forums.
Okay. Because
They added that into the Arizona Ninth Age group that I'm part of. They added just a picture in there saying, "Hey, we're down here playing."
There are to be honest, we actually had like my mom look at like asking all the relatives out there like where we could find people who play. Seriously.
Well, so right now, again, so I'm going to have two captains for ETC teams live a little bit later. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that was something I'd like to talk about, as well as ranking of army tiers. But I'd like hopefully Cats to be here for that. Right now, I'm going to start with, to me, what's going to be our new main event, at least here in the United States, is going to be U.S. Masters. All right. So, Shane, do you feel comfortable saying a quick blurb about U.S. Masters?
Yeah, so I mean, I at Buckeye this year, a whole bunch of us got together and discussed. There was a big discussion about whether or not we felt that there was enough interest within the U.S. community specifically about getting the Masters tournament scene up and running again, and we started kind of having conversations almost on a weekly basis after that with a number of folks, and it looks like it is pretty much locked in. The first one is set up. We're going to do that in January of next year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Gamers Haven's hosting us January 18th and 19th, and we are in the process right now of getting the final, I guess, tallies for the year for who's going to be getting the first round of invites. We're looking at doing a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, Friday with a qualifier so we can get top 8 for that event. We'll get into the Masters. It's going to be a 32-man event for Saturday and Sunday. And there will be another side event that'll be run alongside it for anybody that doesn't make it in that wants to still come out and play and have fun.
And I owe everyone an apology real quick. It is not U.S. Masters, which is what I said. It is North American Masters. It's going to be Mexico is definitely invited. Come on up. They just need to let us know what's going on with their GTs down there. I think we're going to have one or two from Canada.
Yep.
James, is our Canadian coming?
Yeah.
I don't know if our Canadian's coming.
And well, the person setting up the other events actually on this call being Phil. So the Terror of the Mid-Atlantic is we're moving Grail Quest.
How hard is it to remember the word villain?
What'd I say?
Terror.
Terror. I like Terror better.
I have some charisma, not a lot, sure, but some.
Well, in all fairness, his current list that I played against, he had no terror. So
Thank you.
That's true. Yeah, all you can do is fear and shake at the prick of forlorn. But no, so we're moving Grail Quest down from North Carolina. That community's seen some better days, and we're going to be moving it up here to the Mid Atlantic or Northeast, where our community I feel is definitely growing. And as much as it will probably pain some people, I'm very proud and happy to say that Phil's actually a good reason why the community up here is growing. He's worked with Titans of the Ninth in Baltimore. He's been working with our own Green Dragons, and we're actually moving our days to Tuesdays to coincide with at Gamers Heaven to coincide with a bigger gaming group being Basement Wargaming, and try to get more people that way as well. So, Phil, what would you like to say about Grail Quest right now?
Man, there's going to be some killer cups. I'm currently debating, and please, if anyone has a preference on this, just reach out to me. I'm not sure if the Masters Tournament is going to be straight 4500 rulebook glaring across the table. I'm not sure if I want to include some more wonkier rules for Grail Quest or not. For the record, for those of you that remember Grail Quest, I'm not going full Ben Tweet. I'm not going full Ben Tweet. There's no chariots running off ramps, I promise. But I'm like wondering if anyone gets like a free giant base or something like that. Debating on more fun things like that. Or if people just want straight out of the rule book, we'll go with that. But
well, Phil, just remember, it is a qualifying GT.
But would a giant really make it just less of a qualifying GT?
In all fairness, just because there's an added monster, I don't think that it would like void the quality of a player. You know what I mean?
Unless it's me, then it will completely void me.
Well, I don't think so, like maybe just apparently Ben did not get his invite.
Tears.
There's Warhammer right there. Oh, whatever.
He can walk us, he can't do it himself.
All right, so hopefully he gets it.
I don't know. Grail Quest is going to be a fun time.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going with.
So, and actually, there are on this call right now. There's actually 3 members of the committee of the North American Masters Committee. One being Skaven, one being Shane, one being myself. And I'm very excited about it. I'm super excited. As of right now, believe it or not, I don't believe I'm one of the ones that are invited, but I do believe that everyone else here on this call is.
I don't think I'm invited this year.
Really? I thought you won.
I was good. I was good last year.
To be fair, I think I'm invited 2 different ways. So.
Well, you can. You only get invited the first way, and that's it. So here's the thing: is if you win the GT, you have to accept that GT.
Okay, so then the War Score rankings would be secondary.
Exactly. Yes, I do believe that's what we had agreed upon. Correct, Shane?
Correct.
All right.
I don't even know where I'm at there.
So this way it kind of prevents people saying, well, you know what? I've got 2 invites, but I really want my buddy over here to go. No, you get the first one, and we'll just it makes our lives a lot easier.
Fine.
And believe it or not, Phil, I told some people that you were kind of thinking of possibly turning it down just to either run Grail Quest or whatever. And I got a lot of heat if you're not there.
Wait,
a lot of people want you there.
Why? You all bitch at me for no reason. Why would you actually want me?
Come on, man. We got to have someone to bitch at.
Oh, my God. So it's, okay. I see how it is.
You know what? I gave Phil just a prize, just so he had a prize at my tournament, because he actually helped me out so much making terrain. He made 50 freaking dragon eggs and threw gold.
To be fair, Mark,
crap on it.
That was my subtle hint about sparkles. But no, to be fair, Mark, I had a lot of fun making terrain, except your garage was hot as balls in the middle of fucking summer. That's the only problem. That was the only thing I'm like, my God, why?
Well, thank you. I had a lot of fun doing it all with you too.
Just the garage heat. That's all it was. Just across the other side. Maybe the sideboard not in the car. Interesting.
So what are you looking for, Chris? What are you looking forward to? Because I assume you're going to come up, and if you don't qualify, try to qualify because there's the qualifier of the day on Friday as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just going out there and seeing a bunch of top edge players. I mean, for myself, out here in the West, we don't get to see, people like Phil all the time, thankfully. But
Point made.
you see all the stuff that's out there, see all the top players, see what people are doing, and just have a lot of fun. I mean, I'll have to buy some winter gear to go out there, but we'll figure that out, and that's just gonna be an exciting time to go out there, especially with a couple of my buddies, which should also be out there with me, and I'll have a lot of fun just being there.
You have friends out here?
I got 2 people that are already qualified for Masters that are going out there. I don't, I assume they're going.
That's part of a joke.
I just played it straight. No.
Well, Chris, we know you're not straight, so let's get that out there.
I don't know. He has a rat swarm. I'm pretty sure he's straight.
I was going to say he's got his own brood out there.
It's an elaborate beard.
So James, what about you? So this would be my first Masters. I've never done anything like this, and I'm really only been back in the tournament scene myself personally for the last 2 years. So, James, what makes this? Why would you be looking forward to this?
First off, I haven't been invited to the Masters. Second off, I haven't been to a Masters, period. I started playing after the last Masters in Vegas. Like after that Masters in the other game, 8th edition, happened, that's when I started playing.
Am I the only person here who's actually been to other Masters? Well, Caps has been there too, I suppose, but he's not here yet.
Yeah.
I think so, Phil.
Yeah, man.
I mean, well, the first Masters I went to was a lot of fun. The one in Vegas I was not as impressed with.
That's what I heard. I heard that Vegas was kind of like meh.
I mean,
besides being at Vegas,
that's pretty much how it was. I mean, like, I don't know if it was just because of after the end times and there's a lot of just like negative juju in the air, maybe. But I mean, that and the venue was very like, I almost want to say lackluster, for lack of a better term. Like it was kind of like, anyone here ever been to Nova, or am I the only one that's been there too?
I've never been to Nova.
Okay, so Nova, kind of like we were the redheaded stepchildren at that point. If that makes sense.
How so?
Because that's what Nova did ages ago. But now we're not. I don't know. I feel like any time we run an event, if it's just 9th Age or 8th edition or whatever it was a blast. I feel like every time there's other events involved, we kind of become like the hey, let's beat up on the stepchildren kind of deal. But
that's interesting. I find that interesting. Like at ETC, you don't see that. Like everybody's just everybody. Everybody's playing there. You know?
9th Age is absolutely much bigger over in Europe than it is over in America.
Yeah, I could see that. But I mean, even at Buckeye Battles, 9th Age is the dominant tournament.
That's true. You are not incorrect there.
Yeah, I was going to say at Buckeyes, it's huge 9th Age compared to everything else. So, well, regardless. Oh wait,
there it is.
Hey,
is that Ben?
Yeah.
What's going on, Ben?
What's going on, James?
You got your own personal.
I mean, how could I not get my own personal? What's going on?
No.
So here's the thing: is regardless, you can come for the invitational, or not the qualifier, which is going to be Friday, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's going to be a 3-game event, and then the top 8 players, or however many spots we still have open, is going to be invited to participate in Masters. All right, and in which case, James, you usually finish pretty high in all the tournaments you've been in. I've never seen you finish that low.
No, the one tournament that I went to over by Philadelphia, your tournament, the last one, if I played somebody named Phil in Philadelphia, I lost.
How many Phils did you play?
2 Phils.
You played both Phils.
In Philadelphia.
I mean, you did give me and James a chance to go to our weekly. You did give me and James our weekly tournament, our weekly game out the way.
That's true, and that was not my intention.
That was totally his intention.
Well, Ben, you're new on this. Or I'll tell you what. Before I get to Ben, Shane.
Yes, sir.
What about you? What's exciting you for Masters?
So I just started actually. I was playing the old game. 8th edition's when I started. Like when the Island of Blood set came out, that's when James and I both started.
Okay.
James Plant, and we kind of got enrolled in that, and then all of a sudden they hit with this end times BS and kind of ended the game. So we're like, well, what the hell? I'm excited just to see the event itself kind of go off and to help kind of, continue to organize it and help run it. For me, that's going to be a lot of fun to see everybody else really enjoying it and actually, keeping that going. I really get a kick out of seeing all the exquisitely painted armies that are out there. That to me is going to be really cool. And just to see some of the best in North America is going to be a lot of fun for me. Yeah,
I agree.
So let me get this straight real quick. I'm sorry if I'm like cutting in here, but
no.
so for the Masters, there's an event right before it to try to get into Masters.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Is location decided upon yet?
Same location.
Vegas?
No. Okay. So for Masters, it's going to be in Philadelphia.
Okay.
At the same location that
we were just at.
Yes.
Yeah. Dragon's Den? Cool.
Dragon's Den. The Friday event will take place at, was it 3 rounds?
3 rounds starting at 10 a.m. Yep.
So then we'll do a 3-round qualifier that Friday for anybody that doesn't already have an invite and hasn't qualified via War Score. And there are 8 qualifying spots or more, depending on whether or not we get everybody to accept their invites. So anybody that doesn't accept the invites and with the 10% push down for the qualified events, if they don't accept those invite spots for the Masters event, get rolled into the qualifying event. So there could be more spots than just those 8 already for the Friday event.
So how many people are going to be in Masters invited total, including
32?
32.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're hoping for 16 from the events, 8 from War Score, and 8 from the Friday qualifier.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we kind of tried to do a relatively even split to give people a couple of different avenues of gaining entry.
All right, so I'll probably be going back then.
Look forward to having you.
So party at my house again? Party at my house again.
Dude, so I'm going to say this on YouTube right now. So I went to Phil's house, right?
Yep.
And Phil, first off, Phil had his hands full. He had pretty much the whole Juice crew minus Scave and AZ and my brother at his house, right? Oh, and Ben. So he had a bunch of guests over. Plus, he had these guys from Maryland over. And then, he's trying to like cater to all of us. I asked him for a blanket. He went to sleep. I asked him for a blanket. He went to sleep without ever giving me a blanket. I freaking
snoring your ass off on my couch.
Okay. So I slept on his couch, but I had no blanket, but I brought my own sweater. I was still freezing my ass off, right? So I made a big stink about it the next day, right? So in the Juice Crew chat, one of the guys said, this is how James should be sleeping at Phil's house. And it was a picture of a guy sleeping with another couch on top of him to keep himself warm. And I was like, I should have done that.
That's funny.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I kind of imagine
they're like
the whole Juice
like,
crew and all the people at Phil's house just kind of huddled together in like a big pile of corpses to keep each other warm.
Dude, I felt bad for John and Nick. They were in the cold basement.
They had blankets. They asked me before they went to bed.
Oh, you fucker. Actually, John's wife packed them blankets.
That's true too. John's wife packed him in a John's wife packed him a fucking suite.
Trust me, I know. He slept at my house before too, and he had the same thing. His wife was like, "Oh, my wife gave me all this," and he just had like a bunch of shit with him. I was like, "Damn." She made sure he was fed, clothed, bathed.
How did she make sure he? You know how you justify that?
I think that's just Canadian
It's FaceTime.
etiquette.
All right.
FaceTime, and she told him,
It is definitely an upside to
Face time, watch behind me.
things like that for you.
"Don't forget to wash. Here's your underwear." Zelda, I'm just gonna put you inside of my hood.
I can't believe you got another dog and still didn't name it Vegeta.
That's
It's
not.
a
It's
girl.
not a dog. I'm not saying it.
It's
Ben
a
was a gracious host to me the other day.
little
so.
rat. It's a little dog rat.
Dog rat.
She's got like super
My-
frayed hair, and
My cat's way more than that stupid thing.
yeah, this little
Is that
thing.
a puppy that would grow into something, or is he straight rat?
She's gonna grow probably, I don't know, maybe like a foot or so tall.
Oh, I've seen the pictures of it on your wife's Facebook. That thing
Yeah.
is tiny.
She's only 10 weeks.
Oh wow, so it's a babe.
Yeah, so she's a real baby.
You know what her
So,
parent
Cat
was?
should be joining us soon. So Ben, with North American Masters, what would you be looking forward to?
He's dying.
So Ben,
I
you're
like
going to be sitting there. You're going to be playing Grail Quest.
Average dice rolls.
Average. I
Tests, not playing with his head up his ass. Did I miss anything?
I just wish for average dice rolls. That's it. Nothing else.
Honestly, whoever rolls average wins. I firmly believe that whoever rolls average wins.
I disagree. I believe the person that can roll the most 5-ups wins.
I don't know. I watched
Still.
a game recently where Ben rolled out of 8 wounds, he rolled 7 4-up ward saves.
Yeah, that was on UB, and that was
Yeah. UB chooses who wins on
yeah,
UB.
like
That's true.
immediately.
Yeah, UB is UB. Although I have rolled as bad as UB has me roll sometimes.
No, I have too. But there's just sometimes, like, one time I charged, this is when I used to play Koopa, I charged Koopa into these fucking, what are they, the wardens, the dwarf ones with the flaming guns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'll be fine. I have 1-up armor and a 2-up ward against fire. I'll be fine, right? Charge in, 1-1-1, 1-1-1.
Yep.
That's what happened to me earlier today.
Just the way it happens.
Big steaming pile of hot shit. That's
All right.
all it is.
So all of us here, although Shane, actually, I'm not sure if I ever have played a game with you.
Nope.
But I played a game versus everybody else here. What's your favorite part about tournaments?
I love the camaraderie of the tournament. See, I love playing the team tournaments. For me, those are a lot of fun. Like I'm heading down. James and I are heading to what is it, Dragonfall here in a few weeks. And when I say James, I should clarify. I'm not meaning Silva. I mean James Plant.
Just call Plant.
Yeah, so Plant and I are heading to Dragonfall here to play in Fergus's event in a few weeks. The team events are where I really enjoy, just sitting around bullshitting and having fun. I really get a kick out of that. For me, that's a lot of fun. And like for Corner Hammer last year, I helped Jeremy and Lenny kind of keep things organized a little bit for the team event, and just I'm trying to learn how to do a lot more of the TO stuff. And for me, that's a lot of fun. I really like the more the hobby aspect of the game, but I'm still in the process of getting like 3 armies put together. So,
well, after seeing James Silva's army and a couple of others, like Caps and things like that, I will not be trying to paint the army to the best of my full ability, because there's no way in hell it's ever going to look like the way those things look.
Well, in all fairness, if you saw my army last time, it wasn't my army; it was Ben Nelson's. That's what the display board said.
I know. They're like, wait, why do I have Ben Nelson here twice?
Yeah, he was screaming. He was like, "Who's Ben Nelson?"
Question for the ages.
No, the funny part is I knew what he was talking about. I was like, "Oh, that's me."
But yeah, I mean, after seeing things like that, it's like, yeah, no. I mean, I can put eyes, I can do some modifications, but no, not even going to be close.
You could do eyes. That's
Yeah,
a talent. That's talent in itself. That means you're actually very good at being patient at dotting that eye.
Thank you.
Fuck dotting I's. That was my most recent project learning how to do.
Why'd you make a bunch of cockeyed guys? Cross-eyed.
So many times I just popped heads off Miles bit into the dip with you. You're too. You look like you had too much fun with your cousin.
That's why they missed.
You know what I just got? Nothing says loving. So anyway,
Ew.
I just got the paint pens. So again, doing the white for the eyes is the easy part. It's, as you say, getting the dots in there without making just a huge black blob or something like that. So hopefully those black pens will make life a little bit easier compared to, I've got right now the paintbrush I have has only 2 or 3 bristles on it. It's really, really cut down.
I have a really old White Dwarf magazine that shows different ways to do the dots in the eyes, and it's not all just about dotting the eye. You could actually just do it where it's half one color, half another, and it still looks natural.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so Shane, thank you. So Phil, what do you look forward to with just playing in a tournament?
Oh man, painted armies. Straight up, that's always been my thing. I always like going and seeing people that are better painters than I am, and then trying to see what they did and steal it and do it myself. That's always been one of my favorite things to do. I mean, that and just the tactical aspect of it as well. I like trying to think out or outthink people. It doesn't always work out in most cases, but I mean, I like to try.
What about you, Chris?
For me, I like seeing people that maybe you don't see elsewhere. And, I've talked about the upper level people earlier, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the people that don't come out to all the other tournaments. Out here in my local scene, we've got about, 12 people that play on a semi-regular basis, but a few of those just come out for a very rare occasion or for a tournament when we throw one. And so it's always interesting to run out there and see people that are upper echelon, but also the people that are just, local guys that just want to come out and have a few good games and getting to know them and their scene and what they're doing and see their armies. It's always interesting to see who you can talk to, might make a relationship to, and, just find out more about them and what they do and why they're involved in the hobby. It's, I can't find some of those people staying out here in Arizona, but when I fly out to Buckeye or Corner Hammer or any of those places, I always meet somebody new that's great to talk to and I can connect to. So that's a lot of fun for me.
Awesome.
That's kind of one of the reasons I like traveling to out-of-state tournaments or out of my area tournaments, because I like playing new people. I have played many of these people in my region a lot, so I always do enjoy finding someone new.
Yeah, I know. You don't play me anymore.
That's fun. That's funny too, because that's pretty much why the Juice Crew started, was because we were playing each other more on UB than our locals that we were.
Yes, it was. And remember the first year at Buckeye, Jeff was like, "What the fuck are you all doing?" I'm like, "What?" Jeff's like, "What are you trying? What are you?"
Jeff
trying?
was so confused. Jeff was so confused.
What are you all trying to scheme? Like nothing. We literally all play each other once or twice a week on UB. We really don't.
He honestly told me that he didn't want to make us like an internet club, because if we were an internet club, it just coincidentally we had like the better players, and he thought that we were just trying not to play each other. And I was like, we play each other every day or every other day,
right?
At least once a week, And I was like, I don't even play Fergus, and he lives like an hour or 2 hours away from me. I don't even play him like maybe once a year.
And just to clarify, when they say better players, that's excluding me.
You were a late addition.
I keep trying to pull them off, no one take them.
In all fairness, I tried to Thanos snap all of you. I was like, half of you are gone.
Well, we should do that. That's how we should do for the Avengers. The lower half of the Juice Crew is just gone. Whoever doesn't finish top half.
In all fairness, my brother already kind of disassociated himself.
I know.
He said, not true.
No, that was still one of my favorite games was playing Jesse.
That was fucking hilarious. Mark's like, "What's Jesse got? I can fight ogres, 3 scrapicles, 2 cannons." Wait, what? Mark's actually right up. Like, I can fight Jesse. What's he got? 3 spread pulse, 2 cannons. I'm sorry, what? Like, yeah, he's got more guns than the gun line more for me.
And didn't he have shooting mercs too?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he had those.
No, he had poison bodyguard mercs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that makes it better.
No, they were like Thunderous Charge. They had like Thunderous Charge, Swift Stride, rerolling ones. It was a nasty unit, man.
Mm-hmm. I remember the way I did it is I baited him into making a charge. I fled, and then my 2 organ guns opened up and took out all but one model of that unit.
That was quite possibly my favorite moment. Was Jesse's passing his March check in the team tournament, James.
Oh yeah, no, that's my favorite Jesse moment. Period, man. On Warhammer, is the game against Once Bitten. He calls a timeout. I don't know if you guys know this story or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
He calls a timeout, and I'm like, I just finished my game against our guy. We threw what's his name, Irby. Is his name Irby?
Bless that man's soul.
We threw him under the Shannon bus. We gave him to Shannon because we knew none of us were going to be Shannon. It was me, Jesse, Phil, and Matt Irby. And that is his name, right? I'm not saying it wrong.
Matt Irby is indeed his name.
Okay, so they're pulling out the cards and they're like, all right, there's these 2 other guys. I don't know who they are, but they're not Once Bitten and Shannon. So we're like, yeah, we should probably give Shannon to Irby. And then Irby looks at me and he goes, hey, that ogre guy, I can't take him.
No,
I was like, okay. I'm like, we're going to try not to give it to you. We're going to try. I totally gave it to him on purpose. Oh, man. I had to.
Irby was a great sport that whole week, and he took every bad matchup in stride.
He did. He was a really good sport, And then we ended up getting Jesse against Once Bitten. I beat my guy. Phil beat his guy. Shannon was all excited. He's like, yeah, I got 20. And then he turns around and he notices that we're kicking the shit out of his other guys. So it comes down to Jesse and Chad, right? So my brother looks at me. I just finished my game and he goes, time out. I go, what's up? And he goes, hey, I just want to know. He has two guys in the middle of the field on hold the center. One's the BSB, one's the actual like merc, right? And he goes, it's turn 6. It's the bottom of 6. And he goes, I can't get to the center because he's chaffing me. He goes, but can I just break the unit apart and just march around the guys as a single unit, a single model? I was like, yeah. He goes, he's like, that's basically the only reason I needed the timeout. He's like, I just need to know that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm watching Shannon and my brother are talking in this timeout. And Chad's face, he has this giant smile on his face. He's talking to Shannon. He's talking about how he got, he's not going to get the center, but Jesse's not going to get the center either. It might be a really close game, right? But you see this smirk on his face. And then Jesse's like, all right, finish timeout. I'm going to do a march check and walk around your unit. And he was just like, you see the smile just go to a straight like, holy shit. And I read his lips and he was like, I just lost the fucking game.
Nice.
We gotta get Once Bitten out here again.
He said he'll come out if I'm coming to Mayhem. He said he'll come out at least to play me.
Okay. You are coming, right?
Yeah, I'm coming. I just paid for a fucking flight.
All right.
I'm already staying
Yeah,
at
I'm
Ben's
picking
house.
I'm picking up on Thursday.
Nice. Yeah, I have to book my hotel. Is there a Hilton out that way?
I'm going Hilton the Nelson.
Hilton de Nelson. Got it.
You finally get to meet Nolan. Please let me know if his head's.
Oh my god, I'm looking forward to meeting Nolan.
He is a good kid. He really is a good kid. I mean,
He loves Warhammer.
He does. And Ben, you've got 3 wonderful children. You really do. I always have fun, but listening to your kids and their camaraderie and the stuff that your youngest says, it just makes me smile every time I'm at your house. Every time.
Nolan is psycho. Let me tell you.
By something.
Let me tell you what just happened today. So it's like maybe an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Nolan go, "Dad," and I was like, "Oh God, what now?" So I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm in the bathroom." I was like, "I need you in the bathroom for a minute." And I was like, "Okay." I opened the door. There he is, sitting on the toilet, taking a dump, and he I opened the door. He goes, "Hello."
Yep, he's your son.
A big grin on his face, and he's like,
No
like, "Oh man." I'm like, "Why didn't you turn the fan on?" And he's like, "I don't like the sound of the fan." I was like, "Oh god."
Well,
anyways, you never got the question to me, and I was going to answer your question about what do you enjoy about tournaments.
I hadn't gotten to you yet. I wasn't moving on yet. I apologize.
You were.
No,
It's
I'm
okay.
not.
Yes. I know. I just got into a segue with one spin. Whatchamacallit? I honestly have to say I kind of agree with everybody here who just said what they said. Phil said he enjoys seeing painted armies. I believe Shane said the camaraderie. And then Skaz did too. But honestly, it really is all of the above. I actually am a very competitive tournament player. I like to be competitive. I like to know my opponent's armies and tactics and you know whatever. And I get pissed off at bad dice rolls and all. But I would have dropped out of this game several times if it was just about the tournaments. But because of the camaraderie of the players, seeing people that I don't normally see, going to their house randomly all over the United States and even, you know, just everywhere. You know what I mean?
Freezing on the couch.
Huh?
Freezing on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, freezing on the couch and all.
I got blankets.
I appreciate that. I was gonna like cuddle next to your dog if I get freaking cold.
Dude, Link would totally be all about that.
But I couldn't cuddle near Phil's cats. Okay. But no, but honestly, at Corner Hammer at the beginning of this year, I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play a game of Ninth. I was burnt out. My brain wasn't there, and I went to Corner Hammer because I'm like, well, fuck, all my friends are coming to stay at my house. Well, fuck, all my friends are gonna be there. So I went there with two other Juice Crew members, Joseph Abel and Robert Crespo, and I took them there on a Thursday, at the Friday because it was a team tournament, and just everybody's reaction when I walked in the room, they're all like, James, it reminded me like I've built up a lot of friendships throughout the years going to these tournaments, and that makes it for me. That's the whole reason I go.
And for myself personally, because I haven't responded to this question yet either, James, hence why I wasn't going to skip you yet. Is that you just nailed it on the head? Because for a while there, I found myself becoming almost that guy where it's like, oh no, I want to be the one to win and stuff like that. But it really comes down to, here's your beer. I was just playing Ben Nelson. I just looked down like it's a friendly game, and something else happened that wasn't Corner Hammer. It was after Corner Hammer. I was just like, dude, you know what? I've learned a valuable lesson. Just I don't care. Have fun. Here's your beer. And it's beer pretzels, and it's hanging out beforehand. It's hanging out after the fact. It's not even playing the ninth eight.
Yeah.
It's everything else that goes with it.
Yeah. It's really funny, man, because I'm looking forward to I looked forward to going to Phil's house more than I did going to the tournament.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm bringing I'm gonna bring it or Phil's gonna bring it. Dead of Winter.
Yeah,
we're gonna bring it to Ben's house, make him play it.
The game was so much fun.
Yeah,
I've never even heard of it before.
It's a really good survival zombie game, but
You don't have to make me play anything. I'll play whatever.
James, remember that later when we have to trick Ben into something.
I know. You said you play whatever. Play it.
Oh,
We're not playing gay chicken. I don't want you guys to lose that bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
All right,
I
so
was in the military for 9 years. It's
something you'd like to tell us, Ben? I feel like there's something you'd like to tell us, Ben.
like the master of gay chicken, man.
All right, well, That's what I thought was going on. Moving on.
Oh, that conversation just went there. It was nice doing these square tables. Welcome back to the square tables where Lord Tremendous is in here and we talk about gay chicken.
Gay chicken?
Gay chicken porn. So anyway, I'm just literally so Ryan Capps is literally going to be joining us very, very shortly. And again, he's captain of Team USA, but I'd like to talk to captain of Team Mexico.
Okay.
Eh?
Okay.
Nope, that's right. No, we're not Canadian. No S.
K. K for the Spanish version of what?
QUE.
I heard E. I heard EH.
No. You gotta go south. Okay. Not north.
So what was it? And you and I talked about it, and you told me some awesome stories. What was ETC like for you? So please share with us the positives. We all know like some of the negatives that did transpire, but we'd like to know some of the positives because we're all talking about the camaraderies that we built up over. I'm sorry, what was that?
It was a tuna cans.
Sword fighting.
Oh yeah, sword fighting was awesome. That's crazy. To be honest, it goes to the same exact thing I just said earlier about going to tournaments and meeting people and like building up camaraderie on a global scale. It was really funny actually because my client today was talking to me and was saying, "Oh, I'm going to Netherlands and blah blah blah. I got to find a hotel." I'm like, I have friends in Netherlands. Like I could talk to people out there and be like, "Hey, can I crash at your house?" So that's a little bit different now. It's just like on a global scale, and I know like Skaven and AZ knows this because like we're all YouTubers here, most of us are. That you got these people who comment on all your videos and talk to you on all your videos, and then when you meet them from another country, it's just like, holy shit, that's you, and it's especially like on UB, you see a lot of people on UB who are these tournament ETC players, so like meeting them in person versus like just talking to them on a it's kind of eye-opening. You kind of understand where they're coming from. Sometimes you don't realize I know one of them that like Phil doesn't like on UB is Helmorn, but I met the guy and he's like the nicest fucking guy. He bought like 100 shots for basically his team and our team. It's just like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, you guys have to drink these. I was like, I don't drink, dude. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are just crazy characters, of course, like Hermanard and all that. Mm-hmm. As for the tournament setting, if you guys haven't played team tournaments, I know Phil did with me, but I'm not sure. And I know Ben has because Ben was at the same tournament. But that tactics of playing who versus who, it could be really fun, and also it could be really another competition of just making sure you could outsmart the other captain. So sometimes you don't realize, like you might say, and this has happened to me in both ways. Where I played a game and I'm like, this guy's a green matchup for me. I'm gonna kick his ass, but that guy's thinking I'm a green matchup for him. He's gonna kick my ass, And sometimes you don't realize that till you play the game, And then you always get that too, where people are just like, "Hey, what did you rate me before we got into the match?" The next game that I'm about to put up, I haven't made it yet because my voice has been out of it. But the next game that I'm about to put up, it was the same exact scenario. I was like, I'll take the guy. I know how to defeat his army. It's my army. And he was like, I wanted to fight you because you're the easiest guy to fight out of the whole group. And I kicked his ass. So it's just like.
Well, I was going to say, so one thing that's always been said, myself included, is what. And Shane, you said you like team tournaments. I've only played in one team tournament. Shane, Phil, Chris, you guys played many team tournaments?
So Plant and I used to play pretty much every year since we've been playing the team tournament at Acon before they shut that down.
Okay.
And then last year at Corner Hammer, I helped Lenny and Jeremy, so my buddy Nate stepped in and teamed up with Plant. But that to me is a lot of fun because instead of just one-on-one, you got 4 guys sitting around a table bullshitting.
Okay, so you're
And-
talking 2v2s.
Yeah, usually it's 2v2. I've never played an ETC style event. But yeah, I mean, it's always more fun with more guys hanging out and just bullshit and having fun throwing dice.
I agree with that.
You can never really go wrong. And that's one thing that I know Plant and I have talked about on our show, on our podcast before, is that when you look at the basic community, in my opinion, of the Ninth Age, there really aren't too many guys that it's like, I don't really want to, associate with them. Pretty much everybody in the community is like, oh my God, these guys are freaking hilarious. They're awesome. They're fun to be around. And any event that I've gone to, even if I'm not playing, you're still having fun. And that to me is just a reason to go. I mean, I've traveled out of state with Plant just to be able to go and just hang out because it's just a lot of fun. And then just learn, what guys are doing and see how they're playing. It's just a lot of fun for me.
I also think this goes to going out of state and also out of country. Gaming is you see different styles of gamers. They're not doing the same exact thing that the people in their club would, or how do I put this? Like I play a Bretonian guy in my neighborhood, right? And he plays the same list. Doesn't matter what generation, what edition, whatever. He plays the same fucking list every time. His character might change one lance to a different lance, but it's roughly the same, Yeah. And it could be his model selection, it could be whatever, But the point is, when you start to go around and see like all these different types of armies, it creates something totally different. It's different experience, it's different exposure to how people play,
Yeah, definitely. And that is another, you make up a really good point too, the different models. You see some guys will find just some of the most obscure thing, and it's like, holy shit, where did you find that? And especially with Ninth Age, we love seeing those different models on the board. And it's like, there are some really freaking cool looking conversions and shit that you see on the boards that just blow my mind some days.
Yeah.
Hey Ben.
Yeah.
What was part of the issue you were having with connecting? Because I have Caps trying to get on with us, and he's having issues.
The Google Hangouts thing wouldn't. Yeah. So what I had to do is I had to type it in to my browser.
That's what I had to do on my computer. I couldn't do it on my phone.
I just followed the link.
I didn't get a link or anything. I'm gonna put it in here.
Okay. I just texted him to type in the browser because he's trying to do it on his phone.
That's funny. We're all hearing the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I mean, when I was playing in basements, I mean, I was doing okay. And Caps says has now joined the call.
There we go.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries, man. No worries.
Caps, is that a picture of you and your wife in Croatia?
No, it's me and my sister on a jet ski.
Oh. Yeah, but is it in Croatia?
No, I live in Tennessee.
Tennessee? Nowhere near Croatia.
Nowhere near Croatia.
I mean, it's like a stone's throw. I mean, for real.
On a galactic scale, it's basically Croatia.
Yeah, yeah. That's like the only scale we.
No, it's in
Go
Croatia, Tennessee. Not the country of Croatia, but small little town.
Since Caps is joining us here, we should ask him that question of how do you feel like your ETC experience? Like, what was the ETC experience versus having the same experience in, say, United States?
And what I'm asking for is the positive aspects, because we definitely know that there was some bad blood that happened this year. So please share with us. Like,
so you mean kind of comparing ETC to like U.S. tournaments?
Yeah.
So it really is kind of a different experience. Like one, it's just different from an individual tournament because you're there with a bunch of people you've been training with. There really is like that group mentality. I'm here with my team. We want to do well. But it's just a ton of fun. Like there are people from all over, and they're, just in Warhammer, there are what 350 nerds just hanging out, and people are super friendly. It was really cool to go back for a second time, because the second time I knew a lot of people, and it was really cool to be like, hey, it's the Irish team, we played them last year, or hey, it's the Danes, and it was a lot of fun. And then even more than a U.S. tournament, there is also a lot of drinking and a lot of other kind of social aspects to it. So yeah, it was just the atmosphere is awesome.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's a different beast because it's such a bigger scale, and it's a lot more competitive, obviously, but at the same time, it's just like, I think my first experience at Greece, I went with a whole new crew of players who've never been to ETC, which was like Gottschalk, Lenny, Mike Hernandez, and these are 4 Americans that just never been to ETC before, including me, right? And they were nervous, they were scared. They're like, these guys are really good. And I played my first opponent from Austria, and I think I got like 7 points out of them, right? But it wasn't like a huge crushing loss or anything. And I just, after that game, then the second guy I played actually was a guy from France, and he kicked my ass. He was like the number 3 player of the whole thing, the whole ETC, right? And after the second game, we're all having dinner, and they're like freaking out. And I remember Mike Hernandez was like, "Man, these guys are really good," and blah 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 blah. And even though I lost 2 games, I looked at him and I said, these are just normal people. These are just regular gamers playing their game. Like, there's nothing special about these 8 players.
I agree with that 100%. Like, so my first year was 2 years ago. I had 6 great games. I had no issues in any of the games. I would love to play any of those guys again. It was enjoyable, fun, great games. This year I had a couple games where they weren't bad games by any stretch. It just my opponent either didn't speak very good English, or we just didn't click quite as much. So they were, people talk about the ETC games being like tough, or I think everybody is usually very precise, and they're not messing around.
On my game,
it's not. I mean, I never had any games that I felt like my opponent was trying to pull one over on me, or was nitpicking the rules or anything like that. It was just people check everything, and they're incredibly precise, and like they're thinking 2 turns ahead. But in a lot of ways, it's a lot of fun. Like, I thought they were great games.
This year was I had a couple discrepancies on a couple games. Last year in Spain, I had the guy who had the moving building.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, no, it's on my video. It's on my versus Spain video. And then this year I had the first guy had a sliding light. What is it? A light troops peasant block. I was like, oh, you just kind of like squirmed up there, huh? And then the other one was the dark elf guy who budged his guys together after we measured 3 times, and that that pissed me off.
I mean, the only thing I had in any of the games was so that's 12 ETC games. Is there was one game where there was a little bit of disagreement about placement of some chaff, because it was placed within an inch, and I was like, well, you need to move it back, because then it lets me make this wheel. And he was like, well, I want to move it back to here. And I was like, no, you don't get a pick at this point. It just straight back. But I mean, even that, it was resolved cordially and without a lot of drama, a lot of issues. So again, I have enjoyed all of my ETC games. I've had no huge issues, and honestly, I mean, other than the games being very precise and pretty high level, I didn't feel like it's anything completely different than what you would find at a top table in the US.
Okay, so I've got 2 more questions, and for Chris, Shane, Phil, Ben, please chime in. Because again, I think our last two topics of the night is going to be ETC and power rankings of Army races. What do you? I have two questions for both of you. Do you build your army differently for a team game in that fashion than you do for a singles tournament? And then my second question is, what do you look for, since I have two captains here, what do you look for team members?
Mine's easy.
Go for it.
Mine's, are you Mexican? Are you Mexican enough?
There's a wall there.
Dude, I really don't care if you're that good. We're filling the other 4 slots with really good people. Just make sure you get in the door, man.
So for the first point, I think you do build the army slightly different. I mean, I don't think it's huge, but I think, one, you need to look at, of the 8 lists we picked, are there any lists that are going to give us really bad problems? Are there hard counters? And then, it just kind of comes into your strategy. Like, are you pairing for one person? I just want to get, this guy the best matchup we can. Or is this, you're just trying to avoid bad matchups, or things like that. Like, overall, it's not huge stuff. But for example, we tried to take 2 pyro lists because we knew that it's really good against a lot of the elf matchups. So we had 2 lists to get pyro onto an elf. Last year at ETC, I specifically changed some of my items to have double flame wards because I wanted an ID matchup. I thought I was very strong in ID, and that made the list even stronger. But that's changing 60 points of magic items. It's not rewriting the list completely. As far as who you look for a team,
you look for Mexicans too?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing at first is you want 8 people who you are going to be happy spending 6 months on, constant Skype and playing on UB, and, that you're going to be fine being involved with. And then kind of secondly, you want people who you are going to, who you think can be. I think you need a mix of people who are very good and some people who are flexible in their armies, because the game's always changing. Mm-hmm. And, it might be that, halfway through you're like, man, there's actually this really nasty, UD list out, and I think we want UD, or for example, 2 years ago, we had somebody kind of drop out the last second, and we had to shuffle the armies around, and it was nice having several players who were flexible on multiple armies. So I think you do have to look at army composition in some respects, but it's not the end-all be-all. Like, I'm not going into it saying these are the 8 armies that USA is going to have in January. Yeah. There's a lot of trial and error there.
I had a negative experience my first year where it was like, bring this army, this is the dirty army, bring this army, and it didn't really work for me well. And I had like the exact opposite approach, which kind of backfired me in Spain just a little bit. We did decent in Spain, Team Mexico, but I kind of was like, bring what you guys want to bring, and I'll make it work. I'll get you the matches you need to be with, but obviously we were like in the middle of the pack, but we do have some good players carrying the team. This year, I think it was not as loose, but at the same time, I wasn't totally like, why are you bringing this? This is stupid. More like, are you sure you could do this? If you can, show me. You know what I mean? Kind of a deal.
I think I've learned that you need to have players that you trust.
Yeah.
That are gonna play a lot, and because like this year, just I'll use Jake Murphy as an example. He was playing lists and he really liked the Dark Acolytes. But there were, some people both in the team and, who were kind of around, people we talked to frequently on other teams and stuff like that. And there was the prevailing feeling that the Dark Acolytes weren't good enough. They weren't a good choice. They weren't a strong choice. He should take something else. And then, but Jake stuck to his guns. He's like, no, I think these are strong. I like them for my list. And then when ETC list came out, 80% of the Dark Elf list had Dark Acolyte. And sometimes those choices, you just need to trust the player and that they're going to find something that can do well.
I'll be right back. I think my dog's into something.
Okay.
I think he did that on purpose.
No, boss, drop it.
That's not supposed to be in your mouth.
Then where is it supposed to be? What is James hiding from us?
I'm back.
What did Faust have? I need to know.
I thought she was in the toilet water.
Oh.
I heard this like slurping of water, but she was just drinking water real loud out of her bowl.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
All right. So I to James' point is that was kind of the first thing that kind of put me off because I overheard previous team members saying, "Yeah, I'm being told to play this list." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not my style. That's not it." And after talking with James, after talking with you, Ryan, that I won't lie, that sparked my interest. Unfortunately, it looks like I have to have work done on my house for all the damn rain we've had up here in the Northeast. But yeah, I mean, hearing that from you both, what's gone on over there. I mean, I love James' story about it was Hermanard that you got in the sword fight with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just hearing stories like that. I mean, that makes me that still
I almost died. I'm dead serious. I got saved by some Spanish babes.
But yeah, it's stuff like that that makes me think very positive of it now. But sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I have people I met at ECC that I probably talk to every week now. I mean, there are a lot of really cool guys, and it was a great experience. I would definitely recommend anyone who has an opportunity to go. It is great, and you do hear some stories that come out because there are 300 guys who are all trying to play at a really high level and do well, and there is a lot of pressure, but 95% of the games are awesome and enjoyable, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's why everybody keeps trying to go back. Everybody, they get a taste, they want back in.
Yeah. I have to say, my team is not made up of entirely American players that I even know of, like Alan Martini. Alan Martini is a guy from the West Coast, and he got on the team just because he's Mexican, and I built a bunch of friendships out of these 8 players that I never really the only people I knew the first year was my brother and Neil, and everybody else was people I've never met till that day, till I got out in Spain. Which was really interesting. And again, it's building that team, feeling that team community. The other thing I want to bring up is something that's not talked about a lot, but being a coach, a lot of people, their initial reaction is I want to go, but I want to play. and I don't want to be a coach. Being a coach would suck. I'm spending all this money to go out there. I'm not going to be able to play. Not necessarily true, man. First off, there's the ESC. Obviously, you can play in the singles. Second off, there's so many people willing to play a practice game like the day before, just because they're trying to like try out their list or get their shit together. And not only that, I had my brother coach the first year when I went for Team America, and he had a fucking blast. And he's a player too, but he just had a fucking blast as a coach. You know, he's like, there's just so much to do when you're trying to manage 8 people, and I'm pretty sure Jeremy Schweitzer had the same feeling.
Oh, he had a great time. Immediately after ETC, he's like, I want to be back next year, as a coach. Like,
as a coach, yeah. And then my dad did it the year before, and you know, it was just kind of funny because we were like, he's like, oh, you're going to Spain and London? I want to go to Spain and London, you know. And I was like, Dad, if you're coming with. I go, Dad, and we gave him so much shit because at that time my dad was addicted to Clash of Clans. We gave him so much shit. We're like, Dad, you can't be sitting in the fucking hotel playing Clash of Clans and spending all this money on a plane trip. You got to go with, and you're gonna be our coach. And he's like, I don't even know how to coach. So we're like, you know, learn, and we really did kind of just force him into the spot. But you know what? He caught on so fast, and he was another one who was just like, this is so much fun. You know, and it's that team atmosphere, that team aspect. So I know if anybody listening is like, I want to go, but I can't get on the team. I'm pretty sure both Mexico and America are looking for coaches.
Oh yeah. It's and I mean this year too. Like the nice thing is, I think we're going to have a lot of interest for USA. I'm even looking to get some alternates. You know. Just get more people involved, get people playing games with USA members, get more input on lists. Because, you know, part of it is, you know, if you think about it, so I played 60 games this year with my ogres pre-ETC.
Mm-hmm.
But there are 16 armies. I barely played every army 3 times. Like,
yeah.
And there's no way I played every permanation of every list. So you need people who can help you to, like, you know, figure out what are good builds, how does your army do against certain lists. You know, it's just there's so much data you need. It's such a complicated game.
You know, it's funny you say that because I could agree with you on everything except for Infernal Dwarfs. Infernal Dwarfs, I fought like maybe 8 different Infernal Dwarf players on UB or in real life, and they all have pretty much the same list.
Yeah. But like Beast Herds and Vampires, you can get completely different lists.
Yeah.
And like even going before ETC, like I only had 1 game against Empire, and Empire is another list where there are tons of variation, and it's hard to gauge matchups when you see these lists and you're like, I have no idea. Like this is a completely foreign list to anything I've ever seen. Like, and that's the other thing is most of the ETC players are good, and especially like the top teams, they're not going to be taking a bad list. So sometimes you see these lists and you look at them and you're like, I don't get it. And especially if it's a Spain or a Poland or something like that, then there's something you're missing.
Yep.
Like there's synergies that you're not seeing because they're not going to bring a bad list.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of gimmicky lists though. There's a lot of lists, especially in ETC, that are just super gimmicky, that are like, they brought this because they're trying to stop you from doing this, you know?
And there are some teams that try to, like, they'll focus on 1 or 2 matchups.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are going to get this list into a good matchup. And sometimes, so if that's your strategy, you can hone a list to do one very specific thing. You know, this list will play elves. You know.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's go ahead. Let's move on to our next topic, unless anyone else has any other questions.
Hey, Caps.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Mountain Mayhem.
Yes.
I'm bringing a dragon.
Is this Ben?
Yeah.
Nice.
Ben, you're still on this call?
Yeah.
Why isn't Nolan yet?
I love it.
Yeah, you are the reason why I'm going into Mountain Mayhem free, is because I had the dragon listed the CGL tournament.
Ben, you know you're the reason that I ended up with the ETC list I did, is because I watched your Orc and Goblins game at the team tournament last year, and I was so interested in the Giants, and now Giants are my favorite model in Warhammer. They're so, or Ninth Age. They're so much fun.
Yeah, giants are insane, but you need hatred in order to make them like really good because on too many occasions I'll go in with 11 attacks with the giants. I'll hit twice and wound once.
Yeah.
I, as the person who is hit twice and wound once with 11 attacks, I can attest to this fact.
Yeah.
I've had them bounce off a mounted yeoman.
Yeah. The giants are really like.
In all fairness, me and Ben both have experienced this. We've lost the Ragnaroks to fucking like high elf, like
Fast
yep, like
Oh my god! They run in. They do a wound.
charge
You do nothing.
flank. Yep, charge flank, and not even that. Just you fail to wound. You just roll like threes. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Specifically on giant, if it's not something you can stop, their power projection goes down a lot. I mean, it feels like those 10 or 11 attacks can do a lot, but as you said, if you can't hit, you need that reliable damage output.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're super good for infantry, and if their weapon skill was a little bit higher,
Nope.
then they'd be able to hit a little better.
No.
It'd also be 400 points a piece then.
I'm actually really interested in the Orc and Goblin Giants because of the reroll to hit spell.
Yeah, that's a
The
necessity.
Ryan song, right?
What's that?
The Ryan song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad touch at that Buckeye.
Yeah, because if you've got witchcraft,
I thank you, Ryan Stottle, for the easiest fucking weekend of shots at Chris I've ever had.
We all thought that was a red matchup for Ryan Stottle, by the way, against you, Chris.
I mean, that a goblin pump wagon can one-shot a shrieking horror.
How?
Which is how
Boxcar impact hits 4 wounds.
Charging 4 wounds. If you don't kill it, you're dead.
Yeah. Right, I couldn't kill it. I did 2 wounds back to it. It died, and that collapsed my flank. My general failed to charge. My general got charged by the green torpedo, and all was lost.
basically, so it was a Chris had a green matchup, but Ryan had a green matchup against Chris's dice.
Well, I mean, Phil, you can attest to this, right? Who wasn't it? Or it was you, right, Ben?
Yeah.
The nobody needs to shoot at Chris's war machines because they're just going to misfire anyways.
Yep.
I called him on several occasions too.
It's like 2 misfires in a row, and then it's like, oh, okay, well then, not worried about that anymore.
I've stopped taking chances.
So let's go ahead. Let's do our next topic is power rankings for the armies. So what?
Wait.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
You said wait.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. So I'm going to start with James and Ryan. I'm going to have you guys go towards the end of this. Let's get some other people to start chiming in. So Shane.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think is? Forget about what they post on the forums. Who do you personally feel is your topmost tier? Give me your top 3 power armies in Ninth Age.
So when I'm looking at top 3 power armies, just from what I've seen at the different events that I've been to,
yes, sir.
I see the Warriors to have they're played a lot, but they've got a lot of really good iterations that people take that are really strong. So I'm tossing Warriors of Dark Gods is probably going to be my number 1. I actually have to go with VC is probably number 2, at least just from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, I would have said Highborn just because I've seen them played a lot, but they kind of got crept down quite a bit. They're still decent, but I don't think that they're nearly as good as they were previously.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'd say probably my number 3 spot would have to probably the Dread Elves.
Okay. Absolutely. So what about your bottom 3?
See, that's one of the things with Ninth Age. I don't think there is a whole lot of a bottom 3 because they've done a really good job at balancing them all.
Orcs.
No, I disagree with that. I mean, maybe it's just the armies I play against, but orcs give me. It's not an easy game for me. Playing against orcs.
I'm just gonna say it this way: orcs are good against dwarves. Okay, that's it.
Well,
And
so I
Kangaroo.
saw you spank Plant at Corner Hammer. So even then, I mean, I watched you guys play.
That's not orcs doing it. That was me doing it.
Well, okay, touche. But you know, if I don't know, maybe beast herds.
Yeah.
See, I see with beast herds, them being able to turn around, get around the flanks, and come up from behind you. I think it gives people, even though there's not a lot of armor in that army, it will give people fits because you need to know not only know how to play against it, but actually make your plan work. Because if you have a good player like John, the Canadian John, who can make a beast herds army work, it's rough.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think almost any player that knows his army can make the army work, depending on what he's going up against. But I've also rarely seen the Undying Dynasties do amazing things, but I also don't know the army very well. And guys that have played more, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Undying Dynasties are a solid army, I think. They're not bad, they're not great, but they're consistent.
Yeah, it depends on the build.
Which army?
UD.
I actually have some strong opinions on that. I can wait till the end, but
yeah, you're waiting to the end, Ryan. We're letting everyone else get some words in.
Silence, caps.
Yeah. I'm eating.
With UD, like I watch who is it? Nick Reed turn around and he just played someone and with that shooting Shopkey. I think it was Stottle. And Stottle was going off about that freaking strength 5, hit on 5s, hit on 4s, and then because of the running banner, then all of a sudden there goes your armor with the Shopkey. So it's like, okay. And then having regen and all throughout. So there's a couple different really nasty builds with UD. So
yeah, and again, with UD, I think it's just my limited exposure to the army itself, but that's kind of where my opinion falls from that.
Absolutely, I think that's kind of my take on ID because so far I played ID 3 times. I've gotten my crap kicked out of me all 3 times. So, what about you, Mr. Hines? You've been silent.
Top 3. I would say this is not in order, just kind of my experience. I have to put demons pretty high, both from it's just current demons, obviously. The Thirster and the Weaver, both very strong choices. Both can do a lot of damage to a lot of different armies, etc. I mean, that's how my guy won Buckeye was on the back of that Weaver. So, or no, he had the Thirster as my most source. Sorry, I'm wrong. I'd also put up there Saurian because of the fact that there's just so many things that they can do with variation of lists. They're all very strong and also magic potential, shooting potential, etc. And then third, I'll go VC still. VC's still strong, and the healing mechanic is always going to be a good strength for them. So, my 3.
Okay, give me your bottom.
David.
Rats.
We all know it's coming, Chris.
What did you say?
I said we all know it's coming. Let's hear the word Skaven out of your mouth.
Oh, Vermin Swarm. It's Vermin Swarm. If you drank, I'd be telling you to drink right now.
I mean, at ETC, Vermin Swarm is the highest scoring army out of the top 10 countries.
That's my point.
It's really hard. It's hard to say that VS is a really bad army when you're seeing so many high-level players play it very well and throw off points.
Vermin Swarm got some weird results, though, because it was the highest scoring army, and actually overall at ETC, they scored pretty well. But then if you look at some of the more advanced data that's been posted on the forums, they actually don't perform very well in a lot of the metrics there. So it's a weird army. I think it very well could be one of those armies where, you know, you can do like there may be a big learning curve, or maybe it's more dice dependent. But I feel like it's an army that can wreck you or can just fall apart on you.
It's extremely matchup dependent because it's so reliable at doing certain things. If you're facing an ogre army with VS, you know, here's my 3 naphtha launchers, my 2 dreadnoughts, my whatever that you can do to just wreck multi-wound models. You know, here's my ability to just stay steadfast forever and never let you get through. Here's my ability to shoot elves. But the problem with it is that it's very hard to build a very good all list.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You have to build a list specifically for that. You know what I mean?
That's the problem. That's the problem with the tournament settings. The fact that if you get a good run of who you play, you can win the whole thing because you can build an army a certain way, and if you get all those matchups, you're doing great. But one bad matchup can wreck your whole tournament.
And
so I wouldn't put them in the bottom, but.
And I wonder if that's why you see them do well at ETC, where there is some control over your matchups.
I think that has to do a majority of it.
One of the things that, you know, I was part of Vermiswarm testing when the book was adjusted. You know, that was one of the things we had to talk about a lot about. When you can pick your matchups, this army can do very well. But if you can't, that Beast Herd army we were talking about before, if you have VS list and Beast Herd walks up behind you, you're dead. You're dead with that because they're going to kill all your shooting and then you can't deal with it. And that's the sort of stuff you run into. So I won't say Vermiswarm's bad. It's just extremely matchup heavy. I'm pretty committed to going to Buckeye this coming year and taking VS away from the guy who's won it like 5 years in a row. That's going to be my plan. So we'll see how that works out for me. I'm playing a fun little list with 12 Vermin Hulks that's been doing okay. So we'll see how that works. I don't know. Bottom 3 lists?
Give me the bottom 2. Give me bottom 1. Just give me your bottom tier. Pure bottom tier.
I'm right now, and I know there's going to be some scorn on this, but my exposure in my meta is generally just Highborn just seems to be in a weird place right now for me. And I know people like Bergie can make it work really well, and the Furin and all those guys crush with it. But it's such an advanced level army that I think that the majority of people that play it that aren't an advanced struggle with it a lot. And so that's my take on one of the bottom armies, at least if you're not an elite player.
And I've actually seen that report with the Ninth Age where people were saying that it's the learning curve. It is not a beginner army, and people will go to that because it's like you think Lord of the Rings, I want that highborn elf. I want to be that guy. And it's not for the new player at all.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Carl.
Yep.
Carl.
Top 3.
Yes, sir.
Carl.
Ogres. I don't give a shit what the reports say. Ogres. Demons. I will include trees and demons because they're the same thing.
Yeah, except they run away after a fight rather than blow themselves up, and they come back.
And they're stubborn. Anyway, trees and demon trees and normal demons and vampires. Ogres, vampires, demons.
Okay.
Clearly, my 3. I hate ogres.
You know what's funny, Phil? Is I don't fear playing tree armies that I fight because of you. I was like last week. I played a guy who played like 2 bricks of thicket beast and two ancients or whatever, or 1 ancient, 1 tree father. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I was like, it's not Phil.
He's not gonna make his 5 ward saves.
I was about to say, did he fail all his 5 ward saves because he didn't pray to the tree gods?
I thought I put pictures on the Juice Crew chat. I beat the shit out of that guy.
You might have.
I do remember seeing that.
All right. So, who's your bottom tier?
Beasts for a good number of it. Anything cav based, I feel like, is a big problem because the cav is so expensive and it's in a weird place. It's not bad. Like, I don't find
price.
Cav, it's the pricing of it's off.
Yeah, it's not worth two wounds.
No, exactly. It's not worth one Cav's not worth a model and a half. Like 30 points for a decent Cav model, sure.
But not 48.50.
No. I think monstrous Cav's in a good spot. I think it's just normal Cav. So like your heavy like Cav armors like Empire and Kingdom of Aquitaine kind of like just are overpriced, I guess, and that's kind of I feel like the biggest thing. And Beast Herds, I don't think Beast Herds in a good spot either at the moment.
Interesting. Okay. Shane.
Yeah.
You did, Shane, didn't you?
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
went
did,
first, man.
Ah,
Ben.
I'm sorry. I was trying to skip that.
Skip Ben.
Ben, go ahead, buddy.
I have to say the same as Phil for the top 3.
I would like to change my answer now.
Nope, too late. You heard it.
And yeah, I'd say except I wouldn't put tree demons in there. I'd say demons, ogres and VC. But I would also, and then I would say that bottom tier. I'd put warriors at bottom tier.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Tuna?
Well, not because of my brother.
Well, that's the player, not the army.
Yeah, it's the player, not the army. So what bothers me with that with warriors is that not that it's just like leadership 8, they get rerolls or whatever, but what bothers me the most is that the Feldrak Ancient, as beastly as of a model that is,
it is.
He's not fearless, and that bothers me greatly. Like, how are you going to be a fucking 8 wound, strength, what, like 7?
Hi, welcome to Cooking. May I take order, please?
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Like an 8 attack fucking model. And you're going to be terrified when a unit of fucking dogs or, you know.
Wait, the Feldrak Agent causes fear.
Yeah, but he's not fearless.
Yeah, but it's immune to the effects of fear.
But you could run. You could flee.
You could flee, but you can also get scared and panic when a unit dies next to you.
Yep.
Correct.
That's the problem. That's what I don't get. It's like, how can you be a model that's similar to the Arachnarok, but way better?
Okay.
How can you be that and still fucking run when a unit of fucking barbarian horsemen explodes next to you? Because that happened in one of my games. I killed a unit of barbarian horsemen. There's only 5 of them, and the Feldrak ancestor was sitting there right behind him. They blow up. He fails his panic and runs off the fucking table. I was like, that's bullshit. Like, I even told the guy, like, don't take a panic check. You shouldn't, that guy shouldn't.
House rules.
Shouldn't. Yeah, I was like, house rules. He's not afraid. He's fucking like 200 feet tall.
I take it back.
Hey,
I ended up killing him in the shooting phase, but still.
I used to have a house rule. When your unit reaches the end of the board, it stops at the end of the board, and you always have at least one more check at the end of the turn for your next turn. That used to be a house rule in my house.
My house rule is get that shit off. It ran away.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what? The funny thing is,
Depends on
the tournaments over in Chicago. The Dice Dojo used to have water terrain that was ice. So back in the day, I used to say it was DTs for everybody in the ice water, like you fell in the ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it just seems to be the rule.
Nice.
I know.
You should do like if you go over, you try to like walk into the ice water, you roll a d6, and on a 1 or a 2, you slip, and your unit slides forward 1d6 or like 1d3.
They keep on going.
Yeah. Like, oh no, we can't stop.
So you have Warriors. All right. I see. My issue with Warriors is I think Warriors are actually a really good book. I think they have too many choices for players to. It kind of goes with Highborn Elves.
Cough, orcs and goblins cough.
Mm-hmm.
It
You're
goes
preaching to the choir. We have like 7,000 choices.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is if you have so many choices, it's easier to make a list that is not
Optimized.
optimized. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
So, all right, James, who are your top three?
Oh, since I had a long time to think about this, I actually say Lizardmen, and this is not in order, by the way. This is just, but Lizardmen do everything well. They do magic well. They do shooting well. They do combat well. When you fucking run into a block of Temple Guardians and you can't even budge them, you know, you realize, holy shit, like I was unprepared for this fight.
I have made a poor decision.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what instant regret feels like.
Yes. You know, and then if it's followed again, if it's followed with a good player, they can make you deal with chat for days. They can make you deal with everything. It's like they can fight you if they want to fight you. They can shoot you if they want to shoot you. They can magic you if they want to magic you. And a good player behind that, it's unstoppable. Number two is Ogres. I think Ogres is another army that follows into the same category. They do everything well. Their whole army does impact hits. Their whole army can kick your ass because you're only going to remove like 2 Ogres at a time, and they're going to remove like 20 of your models. And then they're shooting. They have cannon, scratapult. You're fucked. It's like, wow, what do I do? They could play Huh?
Get charged by Merc Vets. After the Cannibal, Scratapult, you get charged by Merc Vets.
Yeah, and then they're gonna probably fucking poison shoot you too.
You can forget that.
Yeah, I mean you can't afford all that in Bombardier list or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like,
don't forget the Frostman. So after they charge you, you're still going second.
Yeah.
So we had a real quick Feldrake Ancestor. It counts standard size as insignificant if it is the general.
I guess he played that wrong then. But I mean, well,
General.
granted, he didn't. I didn't let him take the panic test, but I still killed him in the next phase of the bolt thrower, or in my shooting phase.
Okay.
So he still died anyway. But whatever.
You still killed him.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm sorry, James. Please continue. I just had to.
Thanks. Jeez. Has this person done ordering the burger or whatever?
Sorry, I had a guy wander into the street, try to throw a rock at my car, and then
and I'm the one in Chicago, and that shit's happening to you.
Well,
yeah.
Then again, so I was going to say, you're DC, right?
I'm in Norfolk, Virginia.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's understandable.
yeah. So that's why there was a car horn, and I don't know if you heard me swearing.
Let's see. Number 3, I think I have to go with demons, even though I want to say like dwarves, but I want to say I'm gonna go with demons because it's very simple. Like the minute you say bloodthirster list with like double like flame cannons, people right now it's that. I mean, I know that there's a new iteration of demons coming out soon that this won't really exist anymore, but like honestly, a bloodthirster list could just ruin your day if you're just not prepared for a bloodthirster. Sure. A lot of people have to bring precautions just for a bloodthirster. Yep. And like for the fact that has to be part of your game plan, like you're not thinking like, how am I going to handle every beast herd army? You're like, no shit, I got this for bloodthirsters.
That's true. It is one of those models that would just changes the game.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
So I mean, Scourge of Wrath, but yeah. So I would say that Lizardmen, Ogres, and Demons, and then my bottom, Orcs and Goblins.
Get it.
I'm gonna say it this way, okay?
And have you placed in the last couple tournaments? Have you been bottom tables?
Yes. I fought your Hobbit guy last tournament because I lost to 2 Phils. 1 James, 2 Phils. All right, but I'll put it to you this way: Beast herds are Orcs and Goblins, but better. They get full-time hatred. They get just better everything. The only thing they don't get is spiders and pyromancy. Okay, but they're pretty much even though they're naked, they still get a little bit better armor than us. Anyway, demons are you could play a demon army like orcs and goblins with a 5-up board on the whole army. All right. Dread elves can shoot the shit out of us. All right, they shoot way fucking better. They have better magic. They have better access to magic. They have multi-hit, distracting freaking monsters. Dwarves can technically beat the shit. I mean, in all honesty, every army has things that are just better than orcs and goblins. Orcs and goblins does have some good stuff. I am not saying the entire book is shit. I'm saying there's some things that are really good, but everybody else does it better.
James,
Finish with that.
Gas is waiting for that shit.
Finish with that.
James,
Done.
you have the best giants in the game.
Best
Actually,
giants. There's good stuff in
that's not
our
true.
book.
That's
Good
not true.
stuff in our book. Okay. It's either A, mispriced, B, in the wrong category, or C, it's your really only option.
Just take 3 giants.
We just don't have enough wounds. We don't have enough low quality wounds to put on the table. I mean, yeah, we can put a bunch of strength 4, a 50-man block of orcs.
Yeah.
But,
Goblins.
or 60 goblins, but you go into
have
them
low quality
and you do.
wounds. Rotling.
Yeah, but those are super low quality.
Wait, what?
Dude, have you ever done the math on what spear goblins with poison do to things?
I have. It's
if they
fucking
fight in 5
disgusting.
ranks.
Yeah, and have you ever taken that same exact block of naked ass goblins with their dicks hanging out and get hit with a fucking save all your dice to stop a fucking enveloping embers or fucking stop that fucking divination spell or cosmology spell that hits everyone in the unit? It sucks because you have to let every other spell go. You're saving 6 dice, and the guy fucking 3 dice is it. You roll 6, and it still fails, and you still get fucking.
And
That's not
then
it doesn't count. You
Can't help
not
it.
only that,
Can't help
not only that, it's the problem is with orcs and goblins is that you have to be so the 60 forest goblins. Why do we have to be gimmicky to make them work? Why do we have to be gimmicky to get 50 common orcs? Because I've tried 50 common orcs and I've tried coupled with 50 feral orcs, and I could put 50 feral orcs into 20 tower guard, lose 20 feral orcs before I get to swing back, hit with barely anything, even with hatred.
Well, that's your dice.
Well, yeah, but also even rolling a steadfast roll and failing it and running away and getting run down by,
See,
10 tower guard left.
but see, I've seen people like Stottle turn around and make the brick of common orcs work.
So here's an interesting stat that I'll just put out there. So if there are a bunch of advanced metrics that they put out for ETC on the 9th Age forum, and if you look at armies in general, just their average score, orcs and goblins were about in the middle. They were maybe slightly above average, but they were in that middle area. But if you look at it just in terms of what armies did a team bring and how did the team place, and then you try to see, was there any outliers there that an army that was brought that had an outsized effect on team placing? So all it's saying is there's an army here that's doing something for you that is improving your outcome more than if you had picked another army. The biggest difference in that was orcs and goblins. They had the biggest impact on an improvement in team placing.
That's because we're fucking guys. Duh.
But I just thought that was really interesting that would not be the army I would have guessed.
In all fairness, wait till my game 5. I had to beat the shit out of the orc and goblin guy who was number 1, so we could bring our ranking back down to the middle. With orcs and goblins.
Where are those Ryan, where are those advanced metrics at? I'd like to look at those.
It's on the Nine Shades thread. I think it's under the ETC forum, and I think it's called ETC data or something like that.
Thank you.
It's funny too because the guy even said it. He was pissed as hell, of course, because he just like went from number 1 to like number like 17 or some shit, right? But he tells me, I'm like, hey man, sorry that I knocked you down. He goes, it's okay. At least we won't get nerfed because I didn't overperform.
No, they're gonna make the Mad Gits 100 points now.
I know, Jesus Christ. Maggots get ridiculous price. No, the horde rules fuck over the bazooka and the horde unit. The fucking there's just so much going wrong with that with the army. The freaking spiders just got more and more expensive for no reason.
All right, so I actually find them one of the more interesting armies.
Oh, it's interesting.
It may be the next army I play because I think it could be secretly good.
I think it's very good. I really like Horse and Goblins. It's just not my play style, but I think it's a strong
Of
army.
course, it's not your play style. Your play style isn't losing all the time.
Can't all be Ben Nelson. We can't all be Ben Nelson.
Hey, man.
Hey, all I'm saying is there's a lot of games I lose, and I just have to shrug it off and be like, well, I did the best I could.
Yep.
You motherfuckers, on the other hand, I'm talking to all of you little models. You guys are fuck-ups.
All right. So, Caps, what are your top 3?
All right, so I think there are 2 very clear winners, and then number 3 is a little bit harder. I think by far the 2 best books are Demon Legions and Undying Dynasties.
Interesting. All right.
Dynasty?
Yeah. So who's your third? And then I want to go back to your 1 and 2.
Third is hard. I'd probably go between VC Warriors and Beast Herds. I guess I'd probably pick Beast Herds just because I feel like they may have more internal flexibility. I'd say Beast Herds or VC would probably be my. Let's say Beast Herds.
Okay. So
I feel like that's a very flexible book. There are a number of different builds that are all good. VC, I feel like there are some good players with VC, but there are a lot of people who pick up VC and don't perform very well. I don't think it's a universally strong army. I think it has a lot of strong traits, but
And who's at the helm?
yeah,
that's true of all these armies, though.
yeah.
I mean,
I'd say except VC or except Demon Legions is. I mean, a lot of people here said Demon Legions. The Weaver with the wand is stupid good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy. I mean, what? Like half the ETC teams had him, and it's. I mean, the ability to have a monster that fights like a bloodthirster and casts better than every other caster in the game is ridiculous.
I can't wait till he goes away.
Yeah. I think in general, the ability, the whole army has a 5-up ward save. You never have to make a panic check. Those are really strong traits. Like, you're never going to get screwed over by a bad leadership check. And then, there's just solid entries in that book throughout. Like, that's one of the few books I think you could pick almost anything and it could do well.
So the Undying Dynasties go on.
All right, so Undying Dynasties, I think are ridiculous. So if you just look at the numbers, they were by far one of the 2 best scorers at ETC. But it's the ability to take these bricks, whether it's Shabti or the Snake Riders or even just the Sphinxes, and then you have the ability to give them a 5-up regen, so now they become demons. And every time you cast a buff spell, they heal. So you're basically getting 2 spells in one. Then you combine that with that stupid hourglass. So they're throwing 2 dice at every spell. And you can get these things that just ridiculous. Like, they heal back so fast. And when they heal back, they're buffed. They can make amazing combat stuff. And then on top of it, you can take a chariot bus in core that will blow up half the units in the game.
Yeah.
And
I've
scores.
I've charged that chariot bus from what was the team that I played? I think it was, I don't know if it was Turkey or somebody else.
England had a big one. Denmark had a big one. Like that bus, and it scores.
Yeah,
Look at the characters.
I hit him with 2 spiders. My chariots ran in the front, and then I had like my BSB in the flank just for combat res, and I lost.
Yeah, and then on top of it, like that's not even talking about, oh, and then by the way, we can ambush all this stuff, which you can do so much stuff with ambush. Just 20 skeletons at ambush, you can do, like they can win you games because they can be chaff, they can grab objectives. It's such a good book. That stupid hourglass.
Amazing.
What's that?
The scorpions are fucking amazing.
I mean, they're great. Like, honestly, there really aren't, other than maybe skeleton cavalry, there really aren't bad choices in that book.
Shopti are the bee's knees, man.
Shopti are great. The cataphracts are great.
Yep.
I have a newfound respect for cataphracts with magical buffs on them. I have no respect for cataphracts without buffs on them because they die to everything. But if you get some buffs on those things, holy shit, they're scary.
No, it's if you look at like what Phil Blake's playing, like.
Oh, I know. I just played him round 5. That's where my experience with cataphracts and magic comes from.
He sits there.
He was the other Phil.
All right, you can save 4 dice. You can save all your dice for Unerring Strike because it's coming, or you could save the dice for the 3 spells I'm going to cast on 2 dice. And it's just you gotta let something through. And then oh god, we haven't even talked about the Colossus. The fact that you can have a Strength 8 monster that has 6 attacks and a D3 grind and a Thunder Stomp at weapon skill 5, and it can get a 5-up ward save.
It's only weapon skill 4. It's weapon skill 5 with paired weapons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And paired weapons at 7 attacks, a D3 grind, and a Thunder Stomp. I've been hypothetically doing some UD lists for a while.
And it has a 3-up armor save.
Look at 4 armor saves.
What's that?
Look out for it.
It's a 3-up if it's not the scales.
Is it really?
I think so.
I played that shit wrong. Oh no, it's got a base 3 and the light armor. That's what gives it the 3-up. You're right.
Yeah, but if you take the scales, you lose a point of armor. But I mean that thing is ridiculous for 400 and whatever points.
435.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing.
Yep.
So I think UD across the board, I would say, is the strongest book.
Interesting.
I think UD is a very, very strong book for a lot of the reasons you just mentioned. It's the fact that the 5-up regen is where they need it.
Yeah, you don't waste
points.
That's
nice.
You pay 130 points and you get a regen on whatever unit you need it.
Yep. And as you said, being able to just re-roll 2 dice every single cast. Not the first cast you use, but every single cast. And then if you're able to turn around, what does Nick always do? You have 5 dispel dice to at least his 7, if not 9 or more dice.
Yeah, it's a reliable army. It doesn't panic. It gets wards. It heals, and there are a lot of synergies in there. It's a very strong army. I would say UD is probably my top army right now.
Yeah,
that didn't sound like our Orc and Goblin conversation.
No wonder you were so quiet.
No,
I'm just saying, like it's like all this positive about armies.
Hey, I like Orc and Goblins.
I like them too, obviously.
So who's your bottom?
All right, now I'm going to create some more controversy here. So I would say KOE is one of the bottom armies.
I agree with that.
Because of, just like you guys said, I think it struggles. I'm not saying it can't be good because obviously, like I guess in Italy they love KOE, and one of the Italian guys almost scored 100 points with it. But I think it struggles. Just and there's not a lot of flexibility in list writing. I think, you kind of end up with different versions of the same thing. You know, I have knights, and they either have a lance or they have a great weapon, and it charges far. But once I get into combat, I have 9 T3 guys with an armor save.
Yeah, I agree with as a KOE player, I agree with that. I think there's 3 viable builds. One is like Phil's been running with the Grail Star. One is the peasant hordes.
I don't think that's viable anymore though. Peasant hordes.
Sword and board, and then just have a couple characters just do your heavy lifting.
Oh, you're talking like flying peg characters? Yeah, you're right.
And then like the style that I was running, which case you had some like one big unit with the banner last charge, and then a bunch of like medium-sized units.
To be fair, fuck that banner.
But
that's how I feel.
Here's the thing, though: you take off that banner, there's 15 knights. Who the hell cares?
Oh, I know. But that banner is still freaking amazing.
Well, the great thing is you can take it on a core unit. It makes a unit viable without needing a character.
Agreed. Actually, if you put a character in it, it's a negative.
Yeah.
You challenge out for the impact hits.
Yep.
But it's one less unit that a character has to babysit.
Yep.
That's fair.
Okay. So
I'd say KOE.
Yep.
And then I think my other clear bottom army, and this is me saying this having taken them to ETC, is ogres.
You say, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" We're about to.
And
we're about to have
one.
I will give you your reasons and then rebuke them all. Go.
So I think in general, I would say ogres is a reasonably well internally balanced book, but the external balance I don't think is there. And part of the reason is, so just empirically, ogres and KOE were the 2 lowest performing armies across the board at ETC. You also, I think where ogres tend to struggle is it's in the point cost. You look at all this stuff individually and it looks great. You're like, oh, a frost mammoth and these bruisers and oh, I can have strength 6 core, but in practice, it's just so expensive. You have the Warrior of the Dark Gods problem, where like when you actually sit down and try to build a ogre list, you're like, oh my god, all my points are gone, and I have 1 scoring unit.
What? You could take little bruiser darts as chaff and scoring units.
I mean, once again, I'd say you take 2 of the bruiser darts, you don't get a big bruiser unit, or you don't get a big tribesman unit.
Let's not jump on Ryan. This is his opinion.
And 3 characters. If you take a mage, a BSB, and a general, you spent almost 1,400 points.
But to be fair, too, you don't need a general. Your mage can be the general.
Hold on.
At leadership 8.
You buy 3 characters in most other armies, you're spending up to that much if you max them out.
I have spent...
But you're not maxing these guys out. And the problem is you don't have flexibility. Like, I'm not taking those 3 because I want them. Those are the 3 I absolutely need. And I don't have a choice to go less than that. Because if my mage is my general, now he's leadership 8, so I have to buy him the Crown of Autocracy, which means that he doesn't have the points for a lot of the good magic items. And I'm giving up another 200 points. So you can go mage. And there's actually one team at ETC that went leadership 8 mage, which I think is pretty risky.
Oh, yeah.
Shannon just did it at Dragon's Den. It worked really, really well. He had.
Let me rebuke all of Ryan's responses with 2 words. Shannon Powell. How do you respond to that?
I would say that I think Shannon does well with ogres in spite of the meta. I don't think, because again, this isn't 8th Ed where there are some just crap armies you can't win with. You can win with anyone. I think there are a couple good builds. Like, I really like my Mammoth Hunter build, but there are across the board. If you try to build an ogre army without very specific things, it doesn't work.
Like, I don't know about that. I mean, I feel like ogres have an answer to everything. I think part of the problem,
but it's getting it all in a list. Like, how many points?
I don't think ogres have good characters. I don't.
And part of the problem is ogre characters are very, very limited in their builds. There are a couple builds because you can't take shield enchantments. You can't take anything that's standard size enchantment. You can't take any weapon enchantments if you take an iron. Our Iron Fist paired weapons are great weapons. So you're and if you take paired weapons, your armor is going to be awful. So it really struggles in trying to get different builds on the characters. You almost can't do a list that has more than one master. So you're not getting a synergistic lore. You can do a double adept, but I don't know that it's as good.
But that's the complaints about the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else in the book is good.
But it's the issue of trying to get it all in. Like
No,
how many points do you think 7 man-eaters with pistols are?
Oh, about 900.
What?
961, give or
Yeah,
take.
it ends up at almost 1,000 points, and you have 21 T4 wounds. Like you're not even paying.
Pretty fucking good.
Well, also,
Oh, you guys were just complaining about orcs and goblins, like
That's those
50-man
two,
orc.
not me.
Well,
Not me.
hold on.
50-man orc units that cost 500 points or less.
Well, those are common orcs. Now let me break down the points for 35 feral orcs. They're about 870, 900 points close to.
And your 6-7 man eaters will beat the shit out of them. By the way,
Completely
murdered them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But at
destroyed.
least your ferals are coming out of core.
Yeah, but then you have iron orcs. Same problem. Man eaters rip them apart.
And here's my thoughts on it.
Even with shields. And you guys take paired weapons and then get iron fists or whatever on the mammoth hunter on the man eaters, and I could take 35 iron orcs too, and those are close to the same, but they're slower, less attacks.
I just say I think the U.S. meta is skewed because I think we have some very good players who choose to play ogres. But if you look at the poll of experts that came out before ETC that just voted on army rankings, they were dead last. At ETC, they were one of the 2 worst performing armies.
It's funny. It's funny though. I mean, because if we're talking about how the internet ranks things, I mean, I've seen people rank armies and I've seen people play their ass off around it. I mean, case in point, some people think rats are bad and then they did really well at ETC because they could focus on shooting. And I think honestly the reason that ogres aren't good is not because they don't have the options. I think it's because we're in a shifting meta.
Mm-hmm.
Ogres, it's like VC. If you can predict the meta with ogres, which admittedly Shannon is great at. If you can predict the meta with ogres, you can wreck everybody. But you have to predict the meta.
I don't know that that's true. I mean, I think that ogres have some very specific builds, and there are probably 2 or 3 ogre builds but that's the issue. They have the Warrior of the Dark God issue that all of this stuff sounds great until you actually try to start putting it in an army, and then you realize like, oh, I can't get a cannon and man-eaters in, or I have nothing else, or if I want to get a mage and 2 mammoth hunters, well, I have to give up my tuskers. Like it doesn't all fit. Like there are great pieces individually, but when you try to put them together, it's not quite there.
I mean, I got 3 characters with 1 magic item each in my Dread Elf army, and they're 1795 in points.
Well, one of them's on a dragon and one of them's on a manicore, right?
Yeah.
I'll say you don't want to know how much my 3 characters are. I don't even have a BSB.
To be fair, when I ran my tree armies, it was 1745 for 3 characters. Granted, don't ask what those characters were.
Okay, and let's compare stats for your characters and ogre characters.
Okay, Ryan, but let's just address the elephant in the room here, okay? Remember who was supposed to win that Buckeyes?
Which one?
It was ogres.
Yeah, 2 years ago it was supposed to be ogres.
I won Buckeye 2 years ago. Oh, sorry, I got best general.
There it is.
I like that he said that. Like he believes it. Like, oh yeah, James didn't win. Fuck this. I won Buckeyes.
I had 3 unpainted Nobblers in the army, and I was honest about it.
I didn't tell you to be honest.
So
I was happy with top 3. Shit.
I'm going to throw a little defense to the ogres. I will say that they're not bottom tier, but I don't think they're top tier.
No, I'll agree with that.
I think that in the hand, to me, they're like highborn elves. In the hands of an experienced player, they're going to wreck someone and wreck them hard. Okay? In the hand of someone who's inexperienced that says, oh, I'm going to be able to just shove this army down your throat. Fortunately, there's no more army that's exactly like that anymore in Ninth Age, in my opinion. Besides trees that broken fucking...
I think you can still do that with demons.
You definitely could.
Yeah.
I think that
Maybe with the Nurgle build,
yeah,
where like you're initiative 1, I'm gonna go first. I'm 4 up regen.
The Fly Star, the Leader, or the Scourge.
yeah.
The
I'll
Pestilence
say
I
demon.
I could tell you exactly how every single Scourge game goes before I get there. You know what I mean?
You shoot off the board, right?
0.
Oh yeah, because I bring so much shooting.
Because ONG shooting is
I
so
was-
reliable.
I know. Let me
Those
bring those.
Git launchers. Let's not get me started in the Git launchers. But then again, I also play KOE.
No, you know what though? Let's just be honest. You play Ryan a lot, okay?
Yes.
So of course your reaction is, "Oh, orcs have all this stuff that's really good," because you see the good out of it, or you see good dice rolls out of it. But the thing is, you're talking to somebody here who has played over 200 games or more, just that are posted online, not including the UB games. All right, and I can tell you, yeah, the army has some good things. Yeah, I've won games. But I have to work my ass off to win those games where I see other people who fucking are like, oh, it's like my first game this year. And fucking kick my ass with a demon army or an ogre army or whatever. And I'm like struggling to get it.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm not saying orcs and goblins are top tier. I'm not. I just think that I don't consider them bottom tier either.
I kind of rank armies based on how many mistakes you can make and still come out on top.
I want to hear from our moderator. What's your tier list? Because you're the only one that hasn't posted yet. Let's hear what you have to say.
Let
Chris,
me,
you still here?
let me hear dwarves are bottom tier. Let's hear that.
Yeah, dwarves are definitely bottom tier. Of course they are. No. My top 3 tiers is Demon Legions. I think anything that's going to have a 5-up ward save on every single army. Because here's the thing: is you can get rid of armor. Like dwarves are known for their armor. Nope, I got a 5-up. KOE. Nope, there goes my armor. There are too many things that will turn around and negate armor. But how many things change that ward save? That's why the
Like one item.
Divination.
divination and one item, and there's only one unit in the game being Knights of the Grail. That's it.
But then again, with dwarves, you guys got the shield wall, and then KOE's got the 5-up ward against.
I did not say
better.
dwarves were bottom tier.
No, I'm not saying you did, but what I am saying is that when an entire army can get a 5-up ward save.
So here's the thing with KOE, strength dependent. And Caps just dropped. Okay.
Strength dependence, that's fine, you know. I mean, unless you're going against something that has like strength 3 AP6 or strength 4 AP6 or something like that. But
no, it's only strength 5 now. That's it.
No, I know, but I'm saying you have a problem with things that are strength 4 and
strength
below
4 AP2.
high AP.
Strength 4 AP2, absolutely. Or the weapon that
It's still a 4-up armor, you know.
Cavalry pick.
So, as Phil just said, cavalry pick. I mean, there are definitely issues. And the thing is those units also don't have that many wounds. All right?
Hey, sorry, I'm back.
Okay, and Caps is now back. All right?
Stop talking about him.
But here's the thing. That's what makes me say right there is that those armies or I'm sorry, with demons, it is a top-tier army. Everything's going to have that. So KOE is strength dependent, and it's only if you pray, in which case you're giving up first turn, which to me is a disadvantage.
I mean, you've got your move 8, 9 in all your knights.
Like giving up first turn, you turn around, you chaff up KOE, and then you move the unit right behind it.
Yeah, but who's going to have enough to chaff up 4 knight units?
A lot of people. UD. VC.
I mean, anything with a 5 fast cow things that can just move sideways and form a conga.
Yeah. It's not hard. All right. And Dwarven Holds, you're right. They do have a 5-up ward save when they're charged. There's only one unit that has it all the time. It's only if they're attacked in the front rank. That's it.
Say it with me now. Organ guns.
I couldn't say it with you because I didn't know what the fuck you were gonna say.
Oh, I was gonna say organ guns too, and flame cannon. That thing's a beast.
That I do like the flame cannon, but again, that's not a bottom tier for me. I'm not saying that's bottom tier. You asked what my top 3 were, so I definitely think demons right now. And again, dealing with the scourge, you have to have things in your army that can deal with the scourge. It's hard to deal with that. The weaver, as is, and whoever's the pest, the whatever it is now, but it used to be the pestilence.
Papa Nurgle.
Yeah, the Nurgle style army. Okay, in which case, you've got regens, you have wards, you have it's you're going to go last. It's a tough build. So to me, there's a lot of different builds that are all very powerful. VC is one of my top tier armies as well. Because to something that Ben just said is what is forgiving and allows you to turn around and still be there, and VC does that. And your units, it used to be VC, you needed your characters to do the heavy lifting. Now you have models and units in the army that are going to be doing the heavy lifting plus those characters. Okay, and depending on what you bring and how you use it, they're coming back.
Anything with the word vampire is going to kill you.
Not wrong.
No, not wrong. And I will agree with Ryan Caps with UD. I absolutely think UD is one of the better tier armies right now. It has to deal with the fact that they're always hitting, so you can use terrain to help protect your units. It doesn't matter. You can be skirmish. It doesn't matter. You can take all these things that help you stay alive. Okay, distracting or hard target. It doesn't matter.
Hey.
Hi.
So Caps at mute. Oh, never mind. You dropped off. So these are things that make you very versatile, and then you can then to get through their magic, get through their shooting, and then deal with the same units that are going to be shooting you as a combat threat as well. And I mean, those are that's what puts UD. And I will say that Shannon Powell's, who is listening, his top 3 are Demon Legions, followed by Undying Dynasties, followed by VC. So he and I are, same choices there. And I had not gotten to my bottom 2. My bottom actually was going to be KOE. Okay. It is a very unforgiving army. If you don't play it properly, it is very, very unforgiving, and you have to be very meticulous and well thought out. And even if you play it correctly, if you hit those stubborn units, those unbreakable units, and things like that, that's why it's a very, very difficult army. Shannon Powell's bottom 2 tiers is Empire and KOE. KOE being the worst. So again,
Empire, I think, is really good.
See, I was just about to ask that. We haven't heard anything about Empire yet from anybody. I mean, do the rest of you guys think of that? I have almost no experience with Stonewall.
I'm painting an Empire banner right now.
I mean, here's the thing. I think Empire is low tier. I don't think it's the lowest tier.
Well, think about this. So we were at the CGL tournament. The Andy brought a Empire list, and because we swapped lists all the way through, except for the last game, I played him first. I was playing Dread Elves, and he had a shooting Empire list, so I obviously 20'd my army. And then his next game, he got 20'd again, and then he 20'd the last guy that he played. So he only got 20 points at the whole tournament, but his army was the only one who 20'd every single army he played.
See, with me with an Empire build, it's you avoid the IG Death Star, and you just work your way around.
Well, it's not even that. It's all the shooting. Like you get 24 crossbows, 24 rifles or whatever, and you just give them
accurate. And,
and they hit on 4s, wound on, against elves or wounding on 3s, and they're ripping people apart.
I understand that, but that's also where you turn around. And again, same tactic I said against KOE. Put your fast cav up front. They have to shoot that first, and then your unit's right behind. I mean, the issue with Empire is it's a jack of all trades army, but it's doesn't lean one way or the other. Okay, and I think it's too easy to pin it down. And I actually like the steam tank. I'm sure I'll get a lot of heat about that, but I like the steam tank.
It's good. People have been coming around to that thing lately.
Yeah, steam tank's nice.
But I mean, I love a one-up armor save on Knights. But I've seen Night Stars that was my last game, I think, over at Buckeye and playing against Andy or Andrew, who was Ohio Hammer, I believe. And unfortunately, I outplayed him and just blew up that Night Star. But then again, I also triple charged it, I think. I mean, it's good. It's a good army. It's a well-rounded army, but it's not going to bring home. It's not going to win at all. It's too match dependent because again, take KOE. KOE will run right up to it. But I can also do that with other armies. And you have anything like Pyro? Pyro will make mincemeat out of that same army, that same shooting list you just talked about. Okay, and let's see. One thing that was mentioned, like the ogres, I definitely don't think ogres are bottom tier. I definitely don't. But they're definitely not top tier. And going with some of the things that Cap said is it definitely is points dependent where you're not able to fit in the toys. You've got some things that are just going to wreck you, like the Mercs. I think we all agree Mercs are nasty beyond belief. Okay? I don't know an army. I don't see a brick of Merc vets. Has anyone here ever seen an army?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
No, you're right.
Okay. But, am I fearful of the brick of bruisers? Am I fearful of the brick of tribesmen? No, I'm not. I think my other big issue with ogres is it's a gun. To me, some of the best build is a gunline magic heavy list. And to me, that's not the way ogres design should be, but that's not my say. Okay. So I know that the ogres got a lot of heat, and seeing what they're able to take and knowing how to deal with some of those things, it's a decent army. Don't get me wrong, it is a decent army, but it's definitely not top tier anymore. Definitely not top tier.
Yeah, no, they changed it too much.
So
little tweaks fucked it over. But going back to how shitty orcs and goblins are.
Always, it's full circle, man. It's always full circle.
I honestly didn't talk shit about yes because I didn't want to be that guy, but clearly James is willing and able to be that.
I don't give a fuck, man. This is on Mark's channel. We're only to get like 50 views.
Oh,
that's harsh, man. That's harsh.
You know what? You know what, Mark? I'll share it on my stuff, okay? So
I'm looking now how many people I actually have to
watching right now.
There are 8 people watching.
It's probably us.
I am one of them. Yes,
I am also one of them. I mean, it's okay. So there's Nick and there's Pete.
Nick, I know I was gonna say it was Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Oh man.
Hey, Pete, what's going on, buddy?
Nick's like, I like all the stuff we're talking about with UD, man.
Pete wants to
Oh,
hear
he
more about
doesn't like
dwarves.
that. He wants it to keep quiet. He wants to keep rolling.
But going back to how shitty orcs and goblins are, you kill an orc general or a goblin general, you win the game. It's better than VC, because VC you could have another guy there and nothing crumbles after that one turn or whatever, right? Orcs, you kill the general, everything's leadership 6 or 5 or whatever, and it all runs away.
Well, actually, James, if you recall, Brawler's Bash like 2 years ago, I catapulted your general off the table on turn 1.
Yeah.
And then your common orcs, I think your common orc block, everything around had a panic check, and they all passed on their own leadership. That was just one game. That was a fluke. It was a fluke.
I'm pretty sure I brought Squigs to that one.
By the way, I have 469 subscribers. Thank you very much.
I know, but we're talking about how many people are going to watch this like 4-hour video.
That's true. They'll start painting and everything else.
I
I
painted this whole guy's banner during this whole video, okay?
I can't do that. I give you credit. I can't do that.
I also ate freaking chicken wings, made sure my dog wasn't drinking toilet water.
He's been very productive. I actually had to fill up a water bottle. Well, not fill it up, but I had to put some apple cider in it because Nolan came downstairs.
I just drank a whole thing of juicy juice, in all honesty.
All right.
Those are for the kids, Phil.
I'm sick. I was sick this week, and it makes me feel better, Benjamin, so shove it.
I was sick as well, and I think it's because Ben got us all sick.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah. And by the way, you should drink Pedialyte. That shit'll get you fucking feeling better in like 12 hours.
That shit will also give you energy to move a truck.
I could probably move a truck.
You probably could.
I also blame my sickness on sleeping on Phil's couch with no covers.
Yeah, hey, if it gets me out of the spotlight.
All right. So let's go ahead. Let's start wrapping this up because it is now 6 of midnight. So at least here at Eastern Standard Time. With that said, overall, I'm pretty happy with where Ninth Age is, where it's going. I think it's I definitely know some stuff more than others, but all right. So we do have a request for what we think the meta for Mountain Mayhem is going to be.
Ogres. Here, there, everywhere.
The one thought from the request was they think it's going to be war machines.
I don't think so. The one thing I've been noticing a lot lately is that war machines are kind of rarer now. You only really take them if you're scared of a particular threat, whether it's usually monsters.
I just played an army that had 4 bolt throwers, 2 flame cannons. I think it may have had one more other war machine too. It was rude.
Did you promptly call them a whore?
It had like 30 or 40 graybeards with throwing weapons that were in horde formation or beyond horde formation.
I repeat the same question. Did you call them
more than 2 war machines.
Huh?
Must be nice to be able to take more than 2 war machines.
I've never. Well, I can't say I've never. I
was about to say, don't you dare lie.
No. The most.
I honestly don't think it's going to be a war machine heavy event.
Okay.
I think the meta is. I'm not going to talk about Mountain Mayhem specifically, but I think that at Buckeye, what did we see? We saw a lot of Monster Mash at Buckeye.
Yeah, like 4.
So I think it's going to shift a little bit away from monsters, but not necessarily towards war machines. I think it's going to go a lot of things that just can't be stomped to reduce damage output from those monsters if they're bringing them. So I expect a lot of monstrous infantry to be running around a lot of the tournament scene right now. I know, like I said before, I'm running 12 Vermin Hulks right now, kind of for that reason. Not just for that reason, but it's a nice thing to do when I've got a few units in an army that can't be stopped that can kill monsters. So that's kind of my take on it.
Apparently, there's about 5 armies signed up. So the other individual just told me is that there are 5 armies signed up right now that are dwarf armies.
Dwarves don't have to take war machines.
Huh?
Dwarves don't have to take war machines anymore. It's nice in some cases, but
I think I would. I mean, I personally, as a Dwarven Holds player, I'll always have at least one war machine now.
Yeah, but that's not war machine heavy. Although dwarf war machines do work like 4 war machines, so there's that.
I mean, I can go back to the double organ gun list.
No one wants that, goddammit. Don't you dare put words in my mouth.
Double organ gun with the engineer with the D3 wounds, strength 6.
Lately.
I mean, with dwarves, it's really hard to you got the magic. See, before the magic for dwarves turned to bound spells, dwarves really had it all. Like they had, like their entire army could vanguard. They could all get 5 up ward saves. All of them could be stubborn. Like your fucking slayers can go through and destroy any monster they wanted to.
My issue with dwarves is it's
shooting with drama.
You're right. It is a shooting hell. My issue with dwarves is that with speed 3 and the unit not having swift stride, your opponent is going to pick and choose the battles.
Whoopsie-doo, all of a sudden your guy's like initiative 8 with fucking 8 attacks, lightning reflexes, strength 8. And if I don't do enough wounds and kill you because you make ward saves, I'm just stuck there no matter how much combat res I get.
That's against a Seeker list?
Yes, against a Seeker Lord, which both you and Pete Reese do.
He's not wrong.
Not even a little bit wrong.
Pete Reese actually has 2 of them.
I know. No, I know that. Trust me.
Please let me dig your hole deeper while you're at it.
Let me fucking ram them with chariots. Fucking 3d6 impact hits. Oh, I killed the unit, but that one guy is gonna sit there and just rip the shit out of me.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. And now my goblins are all dead. Okay, shit. Now he's free. What the fuck is he gonna charge? Whatever the fuck he wants. Because I'm afraid of shitless of that guy. And not only that,
and he has an organ gun and a cannon.
And that's only one guy. Then you have the other guy running around with strength 10 D3 wounds to anything T5 or higher. Well, great. Only thing I could take is a goblin hero to potentially fight that guy.
I ain't saying nothing.
I know you're not saying nothing. That's why you don't play fucking dwarves anymore, because people hate you for how much you were killing people with dwarves.
Oh, please. Please. I did not terrorize an entire region for years with my dwarfing gun line. I don't know what you're talking about.
But see, I don't know. I would gladly give some of that stuff up just for Swift Stride.
I don't think dwarves need Swift Stride. Not in most cases. They can mitigate that in other ways. I do feel like the movement 3 can be a hazard at sometimes, especially against faster armies that can make you redeploy. I also feel like dwarves in general do better with some shooting rather than no shooting. So there is still that stigmatism, but I mean, you can mitigate shooting in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with organ guns. I mean, not that most people think of it, but I mean, you can indeed mitigate the shooting. But with that being said, I mean, dwarves are still freaking tough as balls, man.
So James, you don't think War Machines is really a big thing. Phil, you don't think War Machines are a big thing.
Not yet. I can see them turning into a big thing now.
All right. Chris? Chris is muted. Shane, what about you?
I see. If there's as many dwarf lists as you said were coming to that event, to Mountain Mayhem, there's going to be a lot of War Machines.
All right.
Like what Pete said in the chat, it's heretical not to have War Machines. Yeah. Is heretical a word?
It is.
Huh.
Learn something new every day.
Who the hell is this Cassidy guy?
Oh, he's my friend.
He's from Baltimore. Good guy, super good guy.
No, yeah.
He'll have two
I think
organs.
if there's that many dwarf lists, there's definitely going to be a shit ton of war machines floating around that tournament.
Fine, I won't bring my fucking my fucking Spider Lord.
So,
Yes.
what about you, Ben? What do you think? And Shane, I agree with you.
What are we talking about?
War Machines. I'm out in Mayhem.
More machines, and I don't know where you guys are seeing the freaking chat because I don't have chat up on my screen.
You look at YouTube, you look at the right side of it, and it tells you all.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. Go on, be number 9 to watch the stream, Mark.
Your own stream.
So I think with all the dwarf players going, I don't know if it's going to be all war machines because
Cassidy said he's not.
The most people I know that are playing dwarves now aren't taking massive amounts of war machines. It's right now. I think the meta for dwarves is like an all vanguarding, like in your face dwarf army with like maybe one flame cannon
And shield wall. Lots of shield.
and shield wall, because shield walls. I mean, why wouldn't you take shield wall? Go in there. Hey, charge me. Here's my one-time stubborn thing, Mark. Or here's my unit with a king who can
Never
survive
die.
anything, and then promptly stick my hammer straight up your butt and do D3 wounds to you and kill you outright.
Repeatedly.
I feel like you're calling out my army here.
Not just your army.
No, Dwarf King. I mean, to be fair, I love dwarfs. I love everything about them. The only reason I don't play them is because 9th Age introduced objectives and I can't sit in the corner anymore. Yes, I am guilty of that. I was that guy, and I loved every second of it. But
And don't forget, Tim Adair was best general at Corner Hammer with only one war machine. Thank you, Pete, by the way.
For the record, guys, this is totally off subject. I just got a really funny text message. But I have a client who's also a YouTuber. She's actually very famous. She's friends with the lead singer of Stone Sour.
Oh, wow.
Stone Sour is here in Chicago this weekend with Ozzy Osbourne, and they told her go hang out with them in Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Okay.
So she was hanging around with Ozzy Osbourne yesterday, and she told them that her ass hurts so much because of her personal trainer. She's like, so now Ozzy Osbourne knows about you, James. I said, okay. That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
I know. Isn't that a great story?
That is a great story.
That's really good.
So I feel a lot of dwarf hate over there.
That's what the comments are saying. So yeah, copter lists are one thing that Pete Reese is talking about. Copter lists are fucking brutal as fuck.
Yep. Looks like we're going to have a Vanguard list.
A what?
Maybe a Vanguarding list.
Oh, I wish I could Vanguard my whole army. That's another thing orcs suck at.
God.
You have unbreakable units, you have stubborn units, you have units that have a shit ton of armor with a ward save if they get charged.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
A unit, any unit that you want, could have the hold stone and fight all
we need to
around.
throw character in there.
Oh, boo-hoo. You also have a rune or a fucking whatever that can take away D3 or whatever from somebody's charge.
Not only that,
No, they got rid of that. It's only 2 inches now.
Have you ever fought Pete Reese's gun lines? Because he'll literally just put little bricks of handgunners, and they're shooting like mini Oregon guns themselves.
I have played Pete Reese's gun lines, and every time I do, I play the Fallout Boy song, "Light 'Em Up," because that's exactly what happens every time I play Pete Reese.
Yeah, it's just like do. You're like, holy crap, I can't go anywhere. You know what? It's a guaranteed X amount of shots.
Yep.
So wait, does this mean you're going to challenge Pete Reese?
And to be fair to dwarves, not Pete Reese.
I'll play Pete Reese whenever.
But to be fair to dwarves in general, though, like, if you play a sit-back gunline army, you really do have problems with objectives.
No, I get
Not
that.
if you shoot the entire army off before,
Oh.
and then you have free reign to walk wherever you want.
Yes, but especially problems with secure target and hold the center.
You know,
Breakthrough. Secure target, breakthrough.
Vanguard.
I
and
think
March
that
9.
can be mitigated.
To an extent.
You're almost as good as elves in terms of your marching for dwarves.
Yeah, but not the charge, and that's where it matters.
I mean, but with dwarves, you don't want the charge.
Oh, yes, I do.
Strength 5 dwarfs from the charger. Real nice, man.
With hatred, AP2, AP3, I'll take it.
Must be nice.
You know, and the thing is, we're pointing out all these great things about dwarves because we don't have that, or nothing even comparably close.
Your strength 5 until you have less ranks than your opponent.
Yeah, but orcs.
Orcs
as
would
you rather
proved,
have.
as you proved that you could just charge a new unit in, and all of a sudden you lose that strength 5.
Yep.
How?
You proved that to us the other day when you were playing Ben. You charge a new unit in, and they're like, "Oh, you're not strength 5 anymore," because it says.
Well, no, at the start of the comic, because I had more ranks than he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, great, I won. I should beat you. Oh no, you stuck because you're stubborn or whatever. All of a sudden, holy shit, another unit goes into combat, and I'm only strength 4 now because a new unit. But
I think I won that combat.
you did win, whatever. But the point is, all right.
Nobody's running a fucking 9 deep unit.
I play you, Mark, and all of a sudden you have hatred with this unit, and all of a sudden this other unit joins the combat, and they have hatred, and now this other unit joins the combat, and they have hatred. It's like nobody else gets to do that. You know, us, we get charged by something else, or something else joins the combat. We're still fucking strength 4.
I guess I've been scarred by Ryan Stottle. So Ryan, if you're listening, I fully blame you. But having that the Savages with either the green tide banner or rending banner or anything like that.
One unit, Mark. One unit, and
Iron
most
Orcs.
players. Okay,
That's
you're
2 minutes.
spending
Iron Orcs, then you're wasting all the points.
You're spending like 1,000 points, not including the character, which is probably 2,000
Oh,
points.
it's a Death Star, but it's a Death Star. I mean that
A Death Star that dies like anything else.
A
Okay,
dead star.
a Dead Star. Yeah, no, because it's a Death Star that doesn't have the 5-0 board when you get charged in. It's a Death Star that doesn't have a freaking regen or whatever, any ward save at all. It's a Death Star that dies, and it's swinging second against everything.
Look,
Except for bruisers.
gentlemen,
But then we get
everyone else's army is better than everyone else's army and just be done with it.
What?
Everyone else's
elephants?
army is better than everyone else's army.
No, it's
Think
not.
about it for a second.
Nope.
Look, dwarves have a lot of special rules, granted, but they're not broken. They're not super top tier. They're good, but they're not broken.
Yeah, they're in the middle.
They're not ogres.
Oh,
Yeah, I said it. Fight me. But yeah, I mean, like there's certain things we all wish we had, and that's kind of what makes it interesting and balanced. Because we don't have those things. We have to find ways to compensate for those things. I'm trying to find a way to compensate for KOE. Has it worked? Mitigate successful. Am I working on a new army project because maybe the KOE isn't exactly what I thought it would be? Potentially. But it's fun. That's half the fun, is trying to compensate or overcome those things. Because it makes it interesting.
It is, but I'm the type of person that I went ogre or orcs. I'm gonna stick with orcs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you found ways to compensate for things.
I do.
Spider bastards you ran during ETC, or all the fucking bullshit you tested on the Juice Crew at any random given time of the day.
the triple chariots.
The triple chariots.
I mean, and here's the thing is, like Orson Gal, I love your chariots.
That makes one of us.
You don't think he has decent chariots?
No, he got
Great, they hurt like fucking hell.
you gotta wait to the battle report.
Yeah. I pulled through, but ow.
So, I mean, and how expensive is a chariot?
325 points.
A single goblin?
No, 3 chariots.
Oh, 3 chariots is 300 points.
It's 125 for one chariot.
At speed 9, so it can now zone.
Mhm.
That's a nice little unit.
Why do you think I take it?
Because you're a smart man.
That's what it replaces. The thing is that you can take, so our core either has to be a mass amount of bodies of regular orcs
Or goblins.
Mm-hmm.
and if we want iron orcs.
But
Or
it is supposed to be a horde army.
Or we take a massive unit of feral orcs and then forego the iron orcs because the iron orcs are just too damn, or they're just really expensive.
In all fairness, I think the ferals are better than the iron orcs.
It depends on if you set them up correctly.
It's the battle focus. It's the battle focus.
Battle focus does it.
Yeah.
But with shamanism, you can also give battle focus to the iron.
Yeah, but then you're relying on a spell that you might get, that you might not get, stuff like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to something you already have.
We have a lot of reliance on spells. And if you want to get some like really good units into orcs and goblins, you have to go with feral orcs or iron orcs, or if you're taking giants, you have to take 3 of them. One's not going to do it.
Pete, I'm going to tell you right now because you might have missed it earlier. You take a brick of 50 goblins or 40 goblins or 60 goblins, and you have to always stop that stupid pyromancy spell or cosmology spell, and it always goes off, and then all of a sudden your damage potential goes to shit. It's just not worth it. It's just too much.
People that don't have either of those lores.
Huh?
Except when you play armies that don't have either of those lores.
Well, that's why the dwarf players are all standing up for orcs and goblins, because they don't have those.
Look, there's a lot of things that dwarves don't have, but there's a lot of things that dwarves do have.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things that orcs and goblins have. There's a lot of things that they don't have. But that's what you're not going to have an army that has everything.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Nope, you got to compensate for your weaknesses, or if you
play
take
Lizardman,
my fighting method, go forget you have weaknesses and go so hard on things you're good at, you pretend your weaknesses aren't there.
Lizardman. Let's see here.
Can't say it. Lizardman had everything: shooting, magic, great lord on an alpha carnosaur who's fireborn automatically, and does D3 wounds to everything in general.
Yep.
Yeah, not wrong there. I mean, to be fair, Lizardmen are a good all-around.
They are a very good army. They're one of the top tiers for me, but they're not within the top 3.
You know what I'm still wondering? Why the hell orcs and goblins don't have the ability to get a 5-up board save anywhere?
Yep.
4 board save?
Well, not even just that. Like, we used to be able to spend a 5-up board save in feral orcs. Quote unquote, too powerful. But we did have to spend like 600 points on a character to put in that unit to get that ward save. Meanwhile, you've got, entire armies that are,
have a 5 ward save everywhere they fucking look.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I know that. That's been an argument I've been doing since day one.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got into here. I'll catch y'all later.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that went completely longer than what I expected. Oh, it's only 20 minutes. But
it always goes longer.
Chris, thank you so much. And to quote Pete Reese here, is let's all agree to hate Demon Legions.
Yeah,
Yes.
Absolutely can do that.
True.
And just, gentlemen, thank you for participating. Thank you for talking about ETC. Thank you for talking about North American Masters, power rankings, and what else did we talk about today?
Ozzy Osbourne's knowing that.
Ozzy Osbourne now knows about James working someone's ass. But in all honesty, thank you everybody for participating. Hopefully, this becomes a monthly thing. At least bring back the square table, whether it be on my channel or in the official Ninth Age channel, and talking about something that's going on in Ninth Age that you want to bring up, and going from there. So, thank you, everybody. Until next time, happy gaming.